Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a Rocky Mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, February 21st, Monday, February 22nd. For those of you across the pond and beyond, welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm so glad you guys could join us this evening. I'm your host, TessTNT, and if you're listening right now, you're listening live at Spreaker.com under We Are Paradox Media. You can also find us on Periscope, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, as well as Podcast Addict. Just recently, we got picked up, and we're being simulcast through kpnl-db.com. And we're working on working out the kinks for Twitch, Restream.io. I always want to call it Restreamio. Restream.io, Facebook, as well as, like I said before, Periscope. So tonight I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. And man, I've been looking forward to hanging out with this group of, right now we just have ladies. John's going to be in here a little later. But the group is called Roots and Wings Paranormal. So first off, we have Shannon. And she says she's an oddball Texan on the team. She met her husband, Jason, in 2003 at Fort Hood, Texas, and became a soldier's ride or die. 15 years later, and a career change to conservation officer, they are now in, is that Mississippi? Yes. I am the team member, or she's the team member and investigator, not me. Dang it. She's the medium, investigator, and she's a mom of 4, Destry Chloe, and that's her angel watching from above that has helped in so many ways and is with her everywhere. And her Twinkies, Caitlin and Kyara, I hope I didn't butcher that. She has been spiritually connected since about 4. Kira, okay, got it. Her earliest memories are with her friend Kobe and the floating green mist that would comfort her until she fell asleep. In 2013, she really allowed herself to open up and let her gift do what it was meant to do. Now every day is an experience. She feels truly blessed and decided to take it a step further and open up a paranormal group and open up to the paranormal. Going to active locations has allowed her to do things, discover things, and see things that she didn't even know she could. On top of being a medium, she is also a Reiki master. Then we have Miss Lissette with, she says, "Hey everyone, I'm a historian, case manager, and an investigator on the team. She was born in Boston, Massachusetts, and was transplanted to Florida with her parents when she was 16. She moved to Mississippi June 2017 with her husband David and 4 of her 6 kids. Arsenio lives in Colorado, Chris lives in North Florida, Sean lives here with them, and then Maddie is a college student in Hattiesburg. Megan and Morgan are twins in high school. They're a Christian family, and yes, you can be Christian and investigate the paranormal. You can't see God or the Holy Spirit, but you know they're there, so it's only natural for her that there are other spirits that we can't see. She believes that we have loved ones who have passed on that still come around to watch over us. Some call them angels. She's always been able to pick up on others' feelings and emotions, and sometimes that's good, and sometimes not so good. Maddie used to be able to see, communicate, but shut her gift off as she got older. Her husband and twins can both see and hear spirits around. The twins will cultivate their gift as they get older, and she's always had an interest in the paranormal and has had many personal experiences through her life. Then we have John and Lindie McIver, and they're from Brookhaven, Mississippi. John, however, was born and raised in Austin, Texas. He came to Mississippi to work, fell in love, and never left. They have been together for 5 years, married 3. They have a beautiful blended family with 5 kids, 4 boys and 1 girl. And it says, I can't say that when we got together, we knew that we would end up paranormal investigators, though. We both were very interested in the paranormal, John being very skeptical, and Lindie a firm believer because of her own experiences. John has kind of become the face and voice behind camera, and he helps scout out locations and assist their clients. Lindie has had experience since she was younger, so it was almost destined for her to become a paranormal investigator. It says, John, I think, is still waiting for that profound experience. He's such a skeptic, but it's always good to have at least one on the team. And I totally agree with that. Keep you grounded. How are you ladies doing tonight? Sorry for jabbering so long. Holy shnikes.
We're doing great. We're getting the longest intros ever. We need to shorten those. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I liked it. It just, in smaller print, it didn't seem like that much. And then I'm like, man, I hope I don't botch this, like, terribly.
No, you're good. Thank you for having us. I love being on your show.
I love having you guys. It's been a while. I think it's been at least a year.
It has been a while.
What have you girls been up to?
Oh,
you go first.
Last year it was pretty slow, but this year it's going crazy. We have been busy. We started off 2021 gangbusters. Could I say Ghostbusters? That kind of fits, actually. But we've been pretty busy. We've got a lot of locations under our belts, a lot of new things in the works, and just really kind of taking it day by day because we keep getting hit with new things, and it's been a pretty cool year so far.
I don't know about you guys, but it seems like activity has really increased, whether it's paranormal or alien or UFO or whatnot, like, which I consider to be all paranormal, but it's just been so active.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if the different, what do they call them? Different levels are colliding, or the veils are thinning, or what the crack is going on, but it just seems like one crazy thing on top of another.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny because just even in our own house, and we have spirits in our house. Every house I've lived in has spirits. This one came with spirits, and we have a couple that follow us that are past loved ones that just go with us from here to there. But last night, David and I were watching TV, and we have like an electronic lock, with the keypad on it. So I don't even have a house key. So if my battery dies while I'm out, I'm totally screwed and locked out of my house.
Oh, no.
But anyway, so we're sitting there, and David is like fanatical about locking doors. And I guess that's because he grew up in South Florida. And you just don't leave your doors unlocked in South Florida, where me, I'm like, whatever's going to happen, door locked, unlocked, doesn't matter. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I never lock the doors. He always does. And for whatever reason, he got home last night from work, didn't lock the door. And we're sitting there watching TV. And it was about, I know exactly, it was 11:04. And 11:04, 11:05, whatever. But the door started, like, it was trying to lock itself. And you literally heard the little deadbolt trying to turn, and you heard the mechanism making its noise, and then it beeped when it didn't engage in locking. And David and I just kind of looked at each other, and I'm like, the hell? And so he was like, that had to be one of the girls. According to him and my twins, we have the spirits of two girls here. One of my twins has communicated with the spirit of a soldier. She believes he's from the Civil War, but she's not 100%. And then there's another gentleman who started off really grumpy. He seems to have settled down some now that we're here for a while. But he was like, oh, that had to have been one of the girls. And I looked at him, and I'm like, one's at a sleepover, and the other one's in her room. He goes, not those girls. He goes, the spirit girls. He goes, they know that I always lock the door when I come home from work, and they probably figured I forgot and tried to lock it. And I'm like, okay, not a problem. But it was just, I call myself the lame and ungifted one in the family, because I've yet to see or hear any of the spirits here. Like, I'll catch glimpses out the corner of my eye. Mm-hmm. I'll hear noises here and there, like in the kitchen and the dining room when I'm the only one in the house. But I've yet to actually hear any of them or see any of them the way they have. It's really frustrating.
Well, John and I have had some crazy activity at this new house that we just moved into, which is kind of weird because we don't really know where it's coming from. And our old house, of course, we knew it was haunted. So we've gotten here just with June, I think we moved in, and we started hearing my kids, like, saying different things, like mom or whatnot. And at times, like, my kids haven't even been here. And we're like, what the crap is going on right now? And we've actually heard it now 3 times and still not sure, you know, what is behind it, I guess you should say.
So does it like call out your name like mom or dad, or do you hear it laughing, or what exactly is happening when you hear it?
Well, one night we were in the bathroom in our room in the back of the house, and it was like we heard them come in and like say something, and we were like, hello, like, what's up, you know? And then they it almost got to like our bedroom door, and it was just like, oh, I don't even really know what kind of noise it made. It wasn't really like you're saying a mom or anything like that time. But the next 2 times I heard it, once in my son's voice and once in my daughter's voice, it was mom. And I remember coming in the door from outside and hearing it the first time. There was a wall in between like our laundry room and living room, and it sounded like my daughter was in the living room. And I was like, what? You know, like, what you want? And didn't get a response. I'm like, what? You're calling me, you know? And I walk around and I'm like, what? And she's not there. And she's at the other end of the house in her room. And I walk back there and I'm like, hey, are you calling me? And she's like, no, I'm got my AirPods in watching YouTube, you know? And then I heard my
That's
son.
crazy because we've heard the girls at our house as well. We had, I thought Megan was calling me one day, and because I was out sitting out back with the dogs, and I heard she says just ma, and it sounded literally just like her. So I get up and I go in the house. I'm like, what? And she's like, what? I'm like, you just called me. She was like, shut up. No, I didn't. And then one night, my husband, he works the late shift. He works out of the Air Force Base, our local Air Force Base, and so he got home. It was about 12:30. And he always lets the dogs out before going to bed. Well, he could have sworn that he heard the other one, Morgan, calling one of the dogs, like calling, you know, Lou. And so he was like, why the hell is she outside this late at night when she's got school in the morning? So he comes in the house and he goes to her room, and she was in her room. She was awake, but she was in her room. He's like, were you just calling the dog for some reason? She was like, why would I call the dog? I'm in my room. And he swore he heard her calling the dog in the backyard.
She's like, oh my God, you guys, why can't you just leave me alone?
Right? Pretty much.
On the couch, and it literally sounded, he was right behind me. And I turned around, and he's not there. And his room is actually like an add-on to our house. And he was down there in his room, and I'm like, what the crap is going on?
That is strange. It makes me wonder, because you guys are both having this, did this start around the same time? Could it have followed you guys from somewhere? Or do you think this has to do with, you know, either perhaps, you know, there's a spirit attached to you that's following you, or from your old place to your new place? I don't know. It's just insane. So many different things that can add up to that.
And I really, like, for us, the stuff that happened with the girls and hearing them call us was prior to us investigating this year. And like Shannon said, last year we had a really slow year, you know, because COVID just kind of got in the way of everything in everybody's lives. So we didn't really do a whole lot of investigating last year, like from the summer on. And for me, our experiences happened like right after Christmas, between Christmas and the New Year, before we had done any investigations so far for 2021. So if it came with me from somewhere, then it just kind of hang around dormant until the holidays.
Yeah. That's about when ours started here, too.
It's pretty creepy.
I don't know if it's like a New Year thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, mine started, okay, so I've always had paranormal experiences, but last October, Halloween, I saw so many spirits that night. and it was just insane. It was more spirits than I had ever seen, and it was all at once. And my sister was there with me, and we had a friend of hers with us, and after that, it's really just kicked up. And I don't think it's because of that. I just think it's everything going on in the world, and it's all going to add up to something.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is, there's so many families that have not had closure, and so many people that have passed due to either COVID or COVID complications, however you want to call it, that didn't have that proper burial or that, real closure with their families, because people, that were super sick were in quarantine away from their families and literally passing by themselves or with a nurse, but not a family member around. And I think that, we have a lot of restless energy because they may feel like I'm not done, or, hey, like I didn't get to say goodbye to so-and-so. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I've also heard nurses say that people are just in denial till the very end. They just won't believe that they have it. Because they've been told so many different things, and what can you believe? Our government has been lying to us for so long. So I can see where they're coming from, but man, so many unrested spirits, like you said. And could it be that we're, even a lot of people that have never experienced are having first-time experiences?
Yeah.
It's very interesting. There's a lot of awakenings in people, and I think things are just coming out of the cracks.
Yeah, absolutely.
The bell is definitely thinning, for sure.
So yeah, for me, and I hate to tell my story because this show's about you guys, but we've had a little doppelganger here shortly after we moved into this place, and it's been me for the longest time. And she's always wearing a white dress. She's been seen doing different things. She's actually pushed one of my kids down and laughed about it and locked her out of the house.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And then I hadn't seen my oldest brother in like 30 years. My 3 older siblings had a different dad than me and my little brother. So when my mom died, we were all separated. And I got him a ticket to come out here. Hadn't seen him in 30 years. And he was sleeping in his room, and I came in wearing a white dress and told him that he had to wake up. He needed to wake up. And he comes out and he's like, "What did you want?" And it's like you were saying, I think it was Lindie, like, "Nothing. I'm sitting here watching TV." Well, you just told me that I need to wake up. I have to wake up. I was just wondering what you wanted. I was like, "You can ask Vern and the kids. Like, I've been sitting here the whole time. And I do not have a white dress. I actually just got one this last year, but..."
That's wild.
And then now my daughter has one. My 16-year-old was the next one to get a doppelganger. And then just recently, we've been hearing my husband in the house. And Nova, my 16-year-old, came in and was like, "Mom, where's Dad?" And I said, "He's at work." And she said, "Well, I heard him coughing in the bathroom, and then I heard him call me. So I was just trying to see what he wanted." And I said, "He's not here." So yeah, it's just weird.
The energy is weird all around. It's just very, very weird.
Okay, I'm getting a Georgetown, Texas number. Could that be John trying to call us?
His would be like a 50512 number.
Yep, that's him. Okay, I'll try to add him again really quick. It's funny because when I call people, my regular phone number comes up, and so when people try to call me back, it goes to my phone and not my Skype. It's so weird.
Oh.
He'd be off at home, so that probably was him.
Yeah, I'm adding him right now. Hopefully he answers. Let's all do a grudge noise.
You have reached Shannon McIver. I'm not available
man.
to get to the
Seriously, John?
I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Bye.
He's trying to call me right now.
Okay, tell him hang up, and I'll add him again.
Mid.
Oh no, Lindie left too. Oh my goodness. They're dropping like flies.
No. wow.
Shannon, you sound like
never
you're
a dull
1,000 miles
moment.
away.
Do I really?
Yes, you do. Bring your phone to your mouth.
My phone is at my mouth here.
That sounds better.
Now I can hear you.
It sounded like somebody threw you into the
with
well.
That last podcast.
Oops, sorry. I didn't mean
With
to
the
hang up.
last podcast.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Hello.
No, when I was
Hi,
on
John.
the podcast an hour ago, it was weird.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
Oh,
having...
hey.
Hey!
Just got off of work, running a little
There
bit
we
late
all are.
today.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
It's lazy Sunday, so we're just hanging out and sharing crazy paranormal shenanigans that's been going on.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I hear
I was
that.
telling them about us hearing, like, the kids in the house and stuff, and, like, that one night when the kids weren't even here and we were hearing things. We were talking about that for a little bit.
Oh yeah, that was super crazy. Yeah, we were actually in the bathtub, and it sounded clear as day, like our son coming from the living room. Totally thought his dad had like brought him over there to pick something up, like his PlayStation or something. And I mean, I was like, "Did you not hear Holden just now?" I went out in the living room in a towel, and nobody was there. And I was like, "What in the world?"
But then when you came back
Wow.
there,
Spirit didn't want you Spirit didn't want y'all having any alone time.
I know, just when things were
Yeah.
getting good. It's like, what? I thought the kids were gone. What the hell is going on? But it's funny.
Oh,
Yeah, it's funny how those different things do that. Like, either, they can cause fights and contention and such, or, break up those happy moments, like interrupt the good stuff. Pretty
Just like
oh yeah, they definitely can. They didn't interrupt too much. They just made us take a quick break. But hey, listen, ladies, I love you all, and as soon as I get home, I will jump back on this podcast. But it's dark, and I got to drive country roads to get back out to my country home. So I'm gonna get off the phone so I can focus on my driving.
Okay, drive safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
All righty, bye.
Bye-bye. I'm trying not to talk because I feel like somebody else is going to talk when I talk. And I'm like, I think Shannon was trying to say something. Who was it? Okay, so Shannon, you were talking about the last show that you were on. Yeah, you were saying the last show you were on, there was all kinds of paratechnical issues.
Yeah, we kept getting technical issues, and, I've got 5G wireless. There was no reason why I should have been, going out. But, Spirit always has its own agenda when it comes to me. So there is no telling when the technical difficulty is happening what's going on in my household, because I, too, have many spirits here. So, and a lot of times they like to get my attention in mischievous little ways. So I just cough it up to them being brats.
So what are these mischievous ways?
Let's see. I have in our bathroom, my husband has one of those wireless, like razors that you plug into the wall, and it's supposed to cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Mine I can literally be sitting in my bathtub and have it come on and answer yes, no questions. I've had a yes, no session with my Ring doorbell. And I've had lights flicker off and on to answer questions. Yesterday I had them running up and down the stairs, and it sounded like a group of football players going up and down the stairs. Just the last couple of days, I've had my cats reacting to shadows on the wall when there was nobody there. So it's been pretty erratic. But having your Ring doorbell go off and answer questions, that one got to me a little bit.
Yeah. So have you reviewed it? Did you see any sort of anomaly or orb or creepy snake or anything?
It was literally no. I mean, and to be honest with you, I didn't even think to go back and look at the footage. I was just more in the moment of, oh my God, just freaking things ringing, answering questions. I would ask a question and it would be nothing, and then I would ask a question and it would go off. And come to find out, at the time, it shouldn't have even been doing anything because we didn't have it connected. So I'm sitting here, I called Lissette freaking out. I'm like, this thing is going crazy. My doorbell keeps going off. And I don't know why my doorbell is going off. There's nobody there. So, and then I called another one of our friends, and I was like, I don't know what to do. He's like, well, have you thought about trying to communicate with it? So that's what I did, and it literally started responding. And finally, I told it, okay, enough is enough. You're scaring me. You need to stop. And it did.
So was this the Ring or whatever doorbell voice, or was it different in any way? Either way, it's really freaking creepy.
It was the chime, the doorbell chime. You know how, your Ring doorbell has a specific chime to it? Yeah. That's what it would do. It would do the door chime. And it kept ringing through my phone that somebody was at my door. And there was nobody there.
Yeah, I'd definitely go check that footage.
And it's never done it since then. So I don't know. It was like it found something that it can manipulate that night, and it did it.
And it's amazing. Like
now
Go ahead.
I do have a picture that I took at my front door that there is like a 7-foot anomaly type spirit standing there, which would be standing right in front of the doorbell.
I wonder if it was like an old resident or somebody that used to know somebody that lived there, or maybe somebody's coming to talk to you. I don't know. I wouldn't let them in. They can just stay out there.
No. And that is the one time I laughed and kind of joked. I'm like, I'm not giving this thing permission to come in. So, no.
Yeah, I was going to say.
If it's going to ask me for permission, I'm not giving it.
Right. I know, in the 3 knock thing, somebody knocks 3 times, you open it, nobody's there, and then now you got a demon or a haunting or whatever going on.
Right.
Nobody knocks here, they just walk in. Which is good. I prefer it. Yeah, but on YouTube, and I watch so much of it anymore because I just hate, all the crap on TV, and I like to absorb myself in the paranormal as much as possible. But so many Ring videos where you do see different figures or orbs, and, they try to debunk it. Is this a bug or whatnot? But so many times you can see this individual walking, and you can see through them, like the car behind them or whatever else. Oh, it's a glitch in the camera. Give me a break.
Yeah, it's a night vision camera on the doorbell. They don't glitch.
Mm-hmm. I love all the technology. I know, all the old school stuff. Dowsing rods are my favorite, but you can buy $20 little clip-on night vision cameras anymore. I found it in the UK, trying to find it here because I can't afford the shipping, but it's picking up so many things. And I don't know if it's because it's getting more active or just because we do have all this technology.
I think it's a little bit of both.
It's a combination of both, maybe. I think the veils are getting thinner between the dimensions, and the spirit is realizing, hey, we can communicate a whole lot easier now. So I think that's part of the reason why is it's a combination of both, the just more spiritual activity and the fact that there's so much technology that makes it easier for them to reach out now.
Yeah, and instead of like when you're talking to them, try to mess with this REM pod. Just tell them gadget or doodad or whatnot. Come close to this, try to touch it, and we'll see what happens. If you say like Paranormal Puck 2 or whatever, they're going to be like, what in tarnation is that?
Yeah. Right? What? Yeah, I always try to, dumb it down or talk old school to them.
Okay, so would somebody like to speak next before I say something? Because I don't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead, darling.
Okay. So when you guys first started out, like, what sort of devices did you start with? Did you just go out and take pictures and video and see what you'd get? Or did you have like a nice little spread when you started? Tell us how you guys began as Roots and Wings Paranormal. I keep wanting to say Roots and Wangs.
We keep it fairly simple. I always joke that Shannon's the best piece of equipment we could possibly have. I mean, she's a medium, so she's always able to communicate with spirit and is more reliable than sometimes the electronics. Just the basics: flashlights, recorders, video recorders, cameras. We have some REM pods. What else do we have? We have an SLS camera that seems to just drive me absolutely insane because it only works when it feels like working. What am I missing, guys?
I'm like, next? I don't want to step on toes.
We've got our IR cameras. We've got, like you said, we try to keep it fairly basic. We've got our cameras. We got our recorders. And we've got a spirit box. But for the most part, we rely on what we can pick up and what we see with just the basics. We'll pull the SLS out a lot of times if we're doing events just for the fact that, people think it's cool. But, we rely on other things a lot more, looking for the voice recordings and, that kind of evidence. And a lot of times we're just looking to validate, what we're being told is going on in a location or what I'm picking up in a location or what, the rest of the team is picking up in a location. And with private clients, your most simplest pieces of equipment are your best, really, because then you're not having to go through and do a whole lot of explanation. Your EMF, your voice recorder, possibly throw in the spirit box and a camera, and you're ready to roll.
I totally agree. Like, when I first started out, anywhere I go, like, I like to go in cold, see what I can find, and then look for the evidence afterwards. And like I said, for the longest time, it was just me and my camera, and then I was introduced to dowsing rods. I believe it was in 2013. Like, when I was a kid, I learned about wishing for water with a hickory stick or apple stick or whatever. But the first time I ever met the copper form with little Bic pins cut in half, I was blown away. There's so much energy you can feel coming through it. And as far as technology goes, just having all these different sources of evidence, and when it aligns and adds up and it's saying this or that, sometimes it's nothing. You can't even make sense of it. But a lot of times it really does hit on point. But I do agree, your gut and your gifts are the best.
Yeah. And if you pick up, a voice phenomenon or an anomaly or something, on the camera that can back up and validate what's coming through, that's profound. But again, it's still very basic and very simple.
That's the best. Okay, so Shannon, you started the group. Were you by yourself? Is there another original member that is still here in the group? I just feel like you and Lissette were there pretty much from the get-go, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Lissette and I from the beginning. Lissette and I from the beginning, when we were Death Stalkers and we made the change over to Roots and Wings. So yeah, I mean, we're the two founders, the two original members.
That's awesome. How did you guys? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine.
How did you?
We wanted to keep Death Stalkers.
Keep going.
Jesus, guys, come on, get it
You
together.
first. You first.
Death Stalkers was a huge chapter, and a huge start in what we did, and we wanted to keep Death Stalkers, just in case we do anything in the future as the team. So Lissette and I decided, with meeting John and Lindie, and branching out in a different direction and pulling further south, we decided to create Roots and Wings, which is really kind of our second chapter, I guess is the best way to put it. And it was able to kind of branch into our Christian roots in our backgrounds. We help people of all different backgrounds, religions, but, our values are Christian and our beliefs are Christian, so we kind of wanted to incorporate that a little bit. So that was kind of where we went with the Roots and Wings.
So when you guys first met, did you know automatically that this is it and we work good together? And did you feel like you had met before?
Oh, absolutely. I felt like I have known this knothead my whole life. Like at some point in our journey through lives, she and I were definitely connected somewhere in the past. Nobody aside from my husband gets me the way she does. And our biggest joke is she calls me Jason, her husband, all the time, because her husband and I are so much alike. Mm-hmm. And she and my husband, David, are so much alike. And I'm like, holy crap, you're a female version of him. Like, I love you to death, but sometimes I want to choke you on the same token. And she's like, yeah, the feeling's mutual. I met Shannon when we first moved to Mississippi, and we started having activity in the house. And I had reached out to a team that she was on at the time. And they were just weird, to be nice. The person that ran that team was just weird.
And if you need to say team. Fucked up or whatever, feel free to, because we're not on terrestrial.
She was batshit crazy. The woman that ran that team was batshit crazy. Probably still is, but whatever. Yeah. Anyway, the one good thing that came out of it was that I got to meet, Shannon, and we kept in contact, and we just kept talking and communicating. And then I'm like, if you ever decide to leave that nutcase, let's do a team together. And a few months later, she left the team, and we started, Death Stalkers. And then, we did some great things as Death Stalkers. But, over time, people grow and change, and, life takes us in different directions, and that's okay. And so it was back down to just Shannon and I, and we're like, let's, we talked about doing a name change since we were starting fresh, and it was just she and I, and that's how Roots and Wings came about. We wanted to kind of incorporate the fact that, we have the wings to fly, but we also keep ourselves grounded to our faith, our morals, and our values. And then Lindie and John actually reached out to us to help them. They were a part of a different team. They had been approached with a private client. And it was just them two, and they realized that this was above their scope of experience, which I think was one of the things that made me love them right off the bat, was the fact that there was no ego. Like they knew they were in over their heads and had zero problems reaching out and being like, hey, we don't know what the hell to do with this, and we need more experience to help us out. And that's how we met, and we helped them with that private client. Oh my gosh, sorry, hound dog.
No worries.
Shannon and I talked about it. We just clicked, and we're like, yeah, let's see if they want to join us, and here we are.
That's awesome. And you had mentioned, the whole Christian aspect. And, I'm originally from Arkansas, and I've lived in Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. I don't really consider the South. It's more like Cuba or whatever. But people are just like, there's no ghosts. They're all demons, and you're communing with demons and the devil. And so what you're doing's bad. Like, for me, God gave me this gift, and if I don't use it, that to me is a sin. Like, that's disrespectful. So I just leave those people alone, and I don't share anything else with them, and I let them do their thing, and I do mine, and we try, let's not talk about it. It's so hard. How do you guys get past that there, being in the South?
It's honestly, it's really, I was very, I don't want to say secretive, but I was very sheltered about when we moved here to Mississippi, like who I actually told that I did paranormal investigating, because it is the Bible Belt, and not many people, understand that. And I've had a couple of people ask me, like, well, how do you call yourself a Christian and do paranormal investigating? And I mean, it's rude, but usually my response is, well, how do you call a Christian and not believe that there's spirits? Do you believe in the Holy Spirit? Do you believe in God? God's never had a human form. So if you can believe in that, and the Bible clearly speaks about angels and demons, why wouldn't you believe that we can communicate with angels? Not everything that we communicate with are demons. And we've dealt with some really negative, nasty energies in some places, private homes that we've had to go to. One of the things that I think maybe makes us different. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my.
I'm sorry. My husband and my kids keep going in and out, and every time somebody comes in the door, my stupid hound dog howls.
Oh.
But I'm like, Daisy, shut up. But, we predominantly do private clients. We do events. We've partnered up with a great group, gentlemen by the name of Daniel and Lindie Johnson. Gene has Twisted Paranormal. And so we kind of branch out into different states. So there's Twisted Paranormal Mississippi, Twisted Paranormal Alabama, Twisted Paranormal Texas. And so they've asked us to, kind of, hey, let's do stuff together. So while we will always still be Roots and Wings, we also do stuff as Twisted Paranormal Mississippi, and that's mostly like events and stuff. Roots and Wings, we mainly stick to private clients and helping people and, spirit. And just because my beliefs are Christian does not mean that I'm closed off to other people's belief systems. I have friends from all walks of life, religiously, culturally, work-wise. Like, because I believe in order for me to truly proclaim to be a Christian, God in the Bible tells us that we have to love everyone. It is not our place to judge or to choose. The Bible does nowhere.
That's not my job.
God does not. In any way, shape, or form, you can only love this person because they think like you, or only love that person because they look like you. That's not what it says. It says you love everyone. So I truly love everyone. I've raised my kids the same way. There's no room for judgment or anything, because Lord knows I've not walked a straight and narrow path my whole life. I was raised Catholic, strayed away from that for a while, practiced the Wiccan religion for a while. Certain aspects of it really drew me in. Some aspects of it, I was like, I just couldn't embrace it fully.
Yeah, you didn't feel it. That's not right.
Yeah, didn't go to church at all for the longest time. And then when we moved to Mississippi, we started going to church, and it just felt right. But that doesn't, I'm ethnically, I'm Puerto Rican. My dad's mom was a Taino Indian in Puerto Rico. So I have that native part of me as well, that I'm very drawn to the earth and natural things. And, it's just really to me, I'm just a big mosh of everything. I respect other people's belief systems. I love to learn about other people's belief systems. I think it's really, really important. I'm an avid reader, so I've got books, not just, you're going to find the Bible in my house, but you're also going to find books on, Wicca and Buddhism and, Taoism. And I just...
Gemstones.
Because...
All kinds of shit. Drumming circles.
Gems and stones. Yeah, gems and stones are like ridiculous in this house. But it's because one of the reasons is, in order for me to help another family, if they don't have the same belief system I am, how can I expect them to say a Christian prayer to get rid of whatever negative is in their house if they're not Christian? I need to be able to, I've taken the demonology courses so that I can recognize different things. And
educate yourself. That's awesome.
I have to be able to guide the people that we're helping. And so if I only know about my religion, how am I going to help somebody else? So I make it a point to, I'm constantly learning. As a matter of fact, crazy idiot, signed up to get my master's in teaching this year. I like to learn. And,
I didn't go to school for that. I was forced into it.
Learning is, the more I learn, the more I can help people.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, well, I have an opinion, but you don't want to hear it because these days you state your opinion and people get offended. People want to fight. It's ridiculous. Like, remember back in the day when we can all state our own opinions and we might have a conversation. If you want to call it an argument about it. But we used to be able to talk about stuff and then say, okay, we'll just agree to disagree and we'll move on to bigger and better things. But today it's just the end of the world for everyone.
It is. Oh my goodness. God forbid you don't agree with somebody. It's like you're the worst thing on two legs. I'm like, it's okay to have a different opinion.
Yeah, and I like it because, like you said, you can learn from everybody. You can accept what they're saying and take it into your life, or you can, push it along and go on to the next thing. But, like you said, for you, like at a later age, you went to church. Like when I was a kid, it was weird because most kids don't do this, but I went to so many different churches, just like you said, seeking knowledge. And I was interested in that aspect because I lost my mom when I was 5, almost 6. So I needed answers. And especially when I was in the military, like every church that you could think of is like at your fingers, except for I don't think I saw a satanic church, but so I try a different one every weekend, even though I was baptized LDS at the age of 7 and went in and out of it throughout the years. I do think fellowship can be important at times, but I don't like going somewhere and people looking down their noses at me and judging me because I can feel it. So I just, find my church and my kids in the, world around me, in nature, whatever you find peace in, seek that out. But man, I think there's a time and place for it, and there's not. It's medicine.
Yeah. I was really worried about.
Like I said, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go.
Continue.
I was really worried about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You said you were really worried about you guys? You said I was really worried about us?
Yeah, like things and like for us, like living like in a small community that's very like religious and conservative. Like I was worried about us like being, out there with us being in the paranormal field and such. And like, of course, we have had those people that are like, how can y'all do that? And you're supposed to be a Christian, But it's also like I probably had more people come up to me and be like, wow, like, let me tell you about my experience. Like, that's so cool that you do that. Like, I want to know more about it. And I don't know if it's like just this day and age with more of the paranormal shows on TV and more people just being out there with it, that more people are actually like speaking out and
more
not
accepting.
Being so afraid to tell, like. But I was really shocked, like, especially like coming from a community that we had more of the positive than the negative coming at us,
Yeah, and people don't consider, like, for me, the meaning of life is to help each other and love each other as much as we can, because I felt from the youngest age that I'm in hell on earth. And I have to get through this, and I have to help people, and hopefully somebody helps me. But I think that's why we're here. And they don't consider that we're here to not only help the living, but people on the other side that are stuck because of their beliefs or whatever it may be. You know, we're here to help both sides.
This is part of our ascension.
I'm a teacher by trade, so it's really interesting. I was always making sure that nobody at work knew what I did, because I was like, you know, last thing, and I live in a small community as well, so the last thing I needed is somebody to be like, oh my God, I don't want her teaching my kid. But I was shocked at how many of the teachers that I worked with are very open to it. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, tell me some of your experiences. Like, I could never do it, but I want to hear what you do, things like that. So it's I've actually been surprised that moved from a big city in South Florida into small town Bible Belt, Mississippi, that people are very accepting of it and are very genuinely interested and curious.
They really are.
Yeah, I think the first time that, you know, a show came out and people started paying attention for me was Paranormal State. And I don't know, it made me feel better, because for all my life, like growing up since I was a baby on, the paranormal to me was normal. And when I finally got to go to school, I'd meet friends, and then I'd share my stories with them, and they're like, oh my gosh, she's crazy, stay away from her. And so I learned not to share that. So that was really hard. So that's why I like, you know, that people can come to you and be able to share their stories, because imagine all the places they can't, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Paranormal PTSD.
Yeah, I remember early on, you know, when I say early on, probably 2014, 2015, when I started doing actual investigations. A friend of mine, you know, kind of chastised me for the medium side of things. And she's like, well, isn't that, you know, a false prophet? And I'm like, no, you know, no.
You're not claiming to be Jesus.
Follow me.
No, I communicate, you know, what I get. You know, I pass the messages along, and, you know, it's fulfilling for me. I'm not making a dime off of it, you know, and to me, it's a gift that God gave me that, you know, if I don't do it, I can lose it, and I'm going to do it.
Amen,
so,
sister.
And it's funny because it just in this past year, the same person, I started studying what I do, and she, you know, has started like sending me different places that she's gone and different things that she's seen, and it's like, wow, you know, I didn't argue with her about it. I didn't go there. I just left it alone. Mm-hmm. And to see that on her own, her eyes were opened was a big deal for me, because I was very close to this person. But I think it is being more accepted now, and not everybody sees it as something ugly or dark, you know. Mm-hmm. So much of the paranormal field, they try to portray it as being dark, and it's really not. There's a whole much more light out there than there is dark.
Yeah, and there is dark stuff out there, but for the most part, it's people that are lost and confused and scared. Like, I don't want to go to the other side, because I know that I'm going to be judged over there, and I don't know how many times I've heard it's just love and light, like, you know, family, acceptance, like, we're all one. Yes, I think you have to go through different cycles after that and re-educate yourself and learn from your past mistakes and make it, you know, a lesson and not a mistake. But it's amazing. I love it.
It is. And we were in a location just a couple of weeks ago, Lissette and myself, and I'm not going to put the location out there right now, but we had an experience that when we both walked outside and talked about it, it was a profound moment, because it was like, oh my God, this is purgatory on earth.
Yeah.
What the location showed us was there are places here that we look at as portals or vortexes, and it's actually a purgatory. And it was showing it to me, and I was like, oh, my God, I've never seen this before. And I've even been to that location before. But it was showing me something different. And I was like, that's not something I've ever thought about, but it makes complete sense. So, yeah, something new to dig into and research and study. I'm kind of like Lissette. I'm a study nut. And
once you get started, you get hooked, man. Whether it's the Bible,
you do.
Which I think there's a lot of true stuff in there, and there's a lot of stuff that's added because of the will of man. Like, I'm going to put this in here because this is what I want. So there's stuff in there. I believe I feel it. The Holy Ghost is telling me this is true.
Absolutely.
And there's parts where I'm like, yeah, I'm calling bullshit on this one. Oh, it's okay to take your wife to town square on Sundays and beat her with a stick that's no bigger than your thumb. Give me a break. And there's a lot of things after that too, but it's intriguing, and you get hooked because there's so much to learn and so much to do, and there's just never enough time. But on that note, ladies, we do have to go to our first musical break. On this break, we have Miss Tamara Bubble from the New York area with Cute Panties, Out the Mud, and Laundry. Then we have Mr. Roy Washington with Subliminal, as well as Mr. Brick Casey with Mr. Cell Phone Man. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Yeah. Bubble on that. Yeah. Real cute. Underwear. To be honest, I don't really wear many. I don't even really rock panties. Let me be clear, I'm used to getting a few new big pair each year from my granny. Couple sexy ones that might come off, and I done had way too much. Any a drunk text go out. They come and eat the sweet juicy pie down there. I'ma go there out. But now, nigga, wrong song. I only need a couple of bars to turn you on. That's why I started mentioning that lingerie, but pull her to the studio with some long john. This verse about to take a turn for the worse, and all them cute panties gonna be long gone. Cause the hating niggas that I wrote it for, they ain't afraid of wordplay, that's why they wrote this for. So I'ma drive them wild, thinking one day they might hit all about my boy shorts, G-strings, slutty thongs, even put them edible pennies on the cover so they wonder how that bubble tastes. You can stay mad, be miserable, old, predictable, maybe not even applicable, but yeah, you typical. Check your mans if it ain't you, cause way too many queens rocking shades cause they eyes black and blue. Way too many dudes putting hands on the bra, that make you feel like a man. Mishandling a weaker vessel, yeah, you saw. Yo, look, it's way too many dudes only wanna spar. But ain't got no conversation, only wanna gossip or recall. Why kicks in these grown dudes, I got a broad dated like some broad. Why kicks in these dudes, let these girls fighting on the stopper to record. These little niggas online, the worst part, lame hoes got a squad. And all they do is just like the females doing interviews with that nigga blog. I be like, come in, big boy, take off them drawers. I just came from shopping, let me slip you into something real soft. You prefer the lace of satin or the silk, cause some pretty little rolls, they gon' hang off your balls. Look at you sitting pretty, yeah. You the type that rock them cute panties, yeah. Come here, you cute, yeah. Real cute, you hating on a female, cute, real cute. Why you mad we getting money? Maybe that's why you sag a lot, them panties shout. Oh, by the way, cute panties, bro, real cute. Grown man, big boss, taking shots from a penthouse love. Talking trash, he making big calls. Yep, then again, that's only till his phone got off. Come again, yes, phone got disconnected. But don't worry, he be back online hating in a second. Back at the crib, remember she paid her phone and the rent. Squash a nigga vegetable soft. Now he souped up in my mentions on some vegetable bro. Leaving comment at the comment, you that thirsty, drink vomit. I promise I ain't never seen nobody when had so much time to hate me. Be honest, is you mad at me? Or the fact that I'm grinding? It's a fact that I'm winning, son, I really be shining. Why you pressed on my diamond? You ready to swing on this little bitty girl, so don't tell me I'm lying. Way too many dudes putting hands on the bra, that make you feel like a man. Mishandling a weaker vessel, yeah, you saw. Yo, look, it's way too many dudes only wanna spar. But ain't got no conversation, only wanna gossip or recall. Why kicks in these grown dudes, I got a broad dated like some broad. Why kicks in these dudes, let these girls fighting on the stopper to record. These little niggas online, the worst part, lame hoes got a squad. And all they do is just like the females doing interviews with that nigga blog. I be like, come in, big boy, take off them drawers. I just came from shopping, let you into something real soft. Prefer the lace of satin or the silk, cause some pretty little rolls, they gon' hang off your balls. Look at you sitting pretty, yeah. You the type that rock them cute pennies, yeah. Come here, you're cute, yeah. Real cute, you hating on a female, cute, real cute. Why you mad we getting money? Maybe that's why you sag like them bunny shout. Yeah. Oh, by the way, cute pennies, bro, real cute.
See you, Roy Washington, man. What's happening, man?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. They never say it in words, but in deeds wars declare. Justice is gone and the sight's none is spare. Especially the kingdom encased in melanin. But these suckers are weak, kings and queens will ride again. Come on. Slackers with badges, the white sheets and the maggots. Watch them fall as I tag them because I'm better than average. A sharpshooter with words with my eye to the scope. Can they escape when I don the black cape? Is hell no. I'm a ninja for right, who can vanish from sight. Pick you off in the night, but still the Lord is my light. Perceiving all you see, the truth behind the scenes. Instead of jumping bandwagons, the light says believe in me. Cause you're a puppet, no doubt. 45th turned you out. Though I saw your lips moving, no sound came out. So I was sent from the heavenlies, born so you could find me. Swam the seeming stream, took flight during the 90s. Landed in grace, wrote a verse of hip hop. Got with Jay and found the taste was smooth as butterscotch. We had hood love and money. Problems, they be on me, but we stayed in the flow. It had juice like Manolo.
They can try to oppress, you can try to impress. Cause after success, none less. You can look in my eyes, you can feel it, my vibes. Came down inside and it's so subliminal. God on my side, I ain't worried about none. If it ain't about money, then it ain't about none. Laughing at my enemies, I know they see me coming. If it ain't subliminal, they can't even see me. Politics and abolish it. I'm here to raise the conscience for every face and race up in this nation trapped in poverty. Diamond in the rough, need to cut, shape it, and polish it. Bad thoughts cripple life, we can be an optimist. We can be an optimist, reconstruct apocalypse. Broke people always hating, mix me with that gossiping. Rose up in the concrete, rain and sun, I'm blossoming. My people need to be like kind of Velcro, then we conquer it. They can try to oppress, you can try to impress. I'm just after success, none less. You can look in my eyes, you can feel it, my vibes. Came down inside and it's so subliminal. God on my side, I ain't worried about none. If it ain't about money, then it ain't about none. Laughing at my enemies, I know they see me coming. If it ain't subliminal, they can't even see me coming.
The 45th is a joke, and he's weak in disgust. He plans to divide, but there's no stopping us. If we have to fight, go toe to toe for our lives, we prevail and got sight, cause only light I recite. I blow my lyrics like a shotgun, camouflaged inside the tracks. Now watch the suckers run. Now moving fast enough, heads up, now here I come. I designed 50 ways to make this murder fun. I spit the lyrical rain that coat the concrete, that give life and take form. Arise and walk the street. Am I the greatest to spit? Feel the spray and we'll see. Let it dry, all the lies and the truth will point to me. Even when surrounded by a million MCs, I'm the one under the sun who's the greatest of these. I got the Holy Ghost juking and tapping while I'm rapping. Sticking and moving like Roy Jones, I'll make it happen. Even animals move when the novelist is rocking. My doggy started barking, his ears just a flopping. Subliminally, I penetrate camps like an enemy. Flicking the lights, cancel sight, cause you're not seeing me.
They can try to oppress, you can try to impress. I'm just after success, none less. You can look in my eyes, you can feel it, my vibes. Live a king down inside. And it's so subliminal. God on my side, I ain't worried about none. If it ain't about money, then it ain't about none. Laughing at my enemies, I know they see me coming. If it ain't subliminal, they can't even see me coming.
I get that feeling I'm doing me time, and I'm okay on learning out at sea. So pop the headed in the daytime. Promise you'll keep sunshine on my feet. Somebody pinch me, this is juicy, juicy. Squeeze out this warm glow on my
Ayy, get up on that washer. Hit the spin cycle till I come home. The way where I'm at, I'm out here breadwinning, so don't hit my phone. Shoulda never gave you treats like that. You got a sweet tooth and won't leave me alone. And every time I try to get some sleep, I wake up cause you doing me wrong. Sneaking up under covers. Used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like, who doing laundry? Ooh, who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Keep playing, think I'm playing. I'ma have you doing them dishes too. Better lick them plates clean, be grateful for this delicious food. Why you want on fours? What you scrubbing floors cause you want some more? But you like it dirty, you is so dirty, you like it dirty. Sneaking up under covers, used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like, who doing laundry? Ooh, who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Sneaking up under covers, used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like, who doing laundry? Ooh, who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? First of all, I was sleeping. And second of all, why you creeping? Third of all up on me, rubbing like conditioner that you be trying to leave in. Relax, love, keep breathing. And I would say keep cleaning, but you like it dirty. You is so dirty. You like it dirty. Sneaking up under covers. Used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like, who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Get up on that washer. Hit the spin cycle till I come home. The way where I'm at, I'm out here breadwinning, so don't hit my phone. Shoulda never gave you treats like that. You got a sweet tooth and won't leave me alone. And every time I try to get some sleep, I wake up cause you doing me wrong. Sneaking up under covers. Used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like, who doing laundry? Ooh, who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Sneaking up under covers. Used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like, who doing laundry? Ooh, who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Ooh, you doing laundry? Sneaking up under covers. Yeah, cause you like it dirty. You are so dirty. You like it dirty, yeah? Under covers. Yeah, cause you like it dirty. You are so dirty. You like it dirty, yeah?
Hello? I'm trying to call my baby, but it's poor reception, cause she ain't picking up. Hello? Hello? Listen, Mr. Operator, I've been up all day and I'm trying to dial my baby's number. See, it only rings straight to the machine. 617. Now I know something must be wrong with this cell phone, cause my baby knows she wouldn't hang up on me. So tell me what's going on. Now see, most of the time phone only ring twice. How you doing, boo? Cool, how's your date? Nice. Now she ain't picking up, plus a text her. Put it to your plane, she's the one to get next to. It's not just the way, it's all day with affection. I'm hoping this detection is poor reception. Straight to the machine, mean it's like clicking my call, get connected quick. I'm saying, hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? I see the phone rings quite a few times before any answer. And I know she's home, well at least till 3. And I know she's home. No, I don't mean to be any bother, operator. But could you just check and connect this call for me? Cause I know she's on. Now see, the first time I call, I'm like, maybe she working. And the second time I call, I'm like, little bit hurting. But the third time I call, I'm like, going berserk. And now half a day gone, can't get her on the horn. Usually in the morning, maybe it's something wrong. I mean, she wouldn't take this long to call back. See, we tight like that, she's supposed to be mine. So could you please try it one more time? Hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? For some reason, it's like she ain't home. Just wanna get my baby on the phone. Now I know that she's there all alone. So can you please hook up my cellular phone? Hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? Why she ain't picking up, yo?
Welcome back, and thanks so much for tuning in tonight to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we have Roots and Wings Paranormal. We have Lissette, we have Shannon, as well as Lindie. Is John home? Is John back yet?
He is. He's sitting here.
Okay, cool. Welcome back.
It's on mine. Hey.
Hey. Where should we go from here? There's so much to talk about.
Ooh, I know. Shannon should talk about the classes that she's going to start doing. We are expanding Roots and Wings. Roots and Wings will be our paranormal page and name, but we're adding kind of like a sister group to it, and it's going to be called Tangle's Roots. And through that, we'll be hosting classes for people. Shannon's actually got a couple classes already in the works to start teaching, people, and for a nominal fee. I think the next class is what, $10, $15? I forgot.
$10.
Shannon, $10. Yeah. So
$10.
plug yourself away, girl.
Well, the first class we're doing, and this one's booked, so I'll be doing another one after, but it's going to be the spiritual awareness, and that is for like-minded folks out there who are trying to understand and get in touch with their gift, be it medium, be it empath, be it, just learning their clairvoyant, that side of themselves, psychic. Anything that they know that they have a gift, but they're wanting to kind of tune into it and figure it out and dial themselves in and open that third eye, lift the veil. That's going to be the first class to focus. The second class is going to be a shadow work class, quite honestly, because it is something that I've put off for my 47 years and have decided that I needed to shed my own shadow and get in touch with it because I kind of do tend to avoid it. So I figured, well, if I'm going to go through this, why not invite others to go through it with me? So that is going to be the second class. I'll do the research and the studying and kind of put it out there and just be able to go through it together.
That's awesome, and it's funny that it's about shadows, because for the past, I think, 3 or 4 days, I've been seeing a lot. Anyone else?
Me too.
Yeah, like, what the hell?
Attacking shadows. They've been everywhere. I don't know. But yes, they're everywhere.
Yeah, when you said getting rid of your own shadow, it reminded me of Peter Pan. Had a cute little visual there.
Yes.
Well, it's so awesome that you're doing that. And $10, like, this information is priceless. So that's a good deal. Good job, sister.
Yeah, and
Well, because
with the first class, I decided.
Go ahead, Shannon.
With the first class, I decided to actually offer to do readings, which isn't something I do very often. And I added a $10 fee to that, but that $10 fee is actually going to be sent to Judy Sparrow, Lorraine Warren's daughter, to use as, you know, Lorraine and Ed were very big into their pets and their animals. So she sends money off to these different charities for animals. So I'm going to send that money that I make for that to do these readings to Judy. So it's going to be my pay it forward, since I can't take money personally to do it. So I wanted to do something to pay forward with me.
Yeah, and like you're saying, like, you have to figure out some way to keep your group going. What we do is sell cleansing kits with so many different things in it. And you're doing this, and like you said, you could pay it forward to your group or to whoever else to help them out. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just I feel like it's our way to kind of give back and continue the cycle, and to acknowledge the two people in my mind that, you know, kind of put us full throttle, especially being a medium. I mean, you know, I cannot pay enough homage to the Warrens for, you know, setting that precedent and putting it out there in a way that people understand it, you know, and gave it some acknowledgement.
Okay, so I'm not sure. Was that Lissette that was trying to say something before?
Yeah, I was pretty much going to say the same thing about, you know, like why we kept the price so low. And it's not to make money. I think one of the things that I find so unique about Shannon is that she doesn't use her gift for money. And not by any means am I trying to put down any other medium that charges, you know, $60, $50, $100, $300 for their readings. I mean, you do, boo. You know, you do you, boo. Whatever you guide with, that's
straight pimping right there. Oh my!
But the fact that, you know, Shannon doesn't charge this astronomical amount of money when she does do a reading for somebody, and the little bit that she does charge is not going in her pocket. It's going to a charity. You know, to the team's, you know, pocket when she does a reading. It's going straight from her to a charity. To me, that just says a lot about who she is as a person, and one of the reasons why I love her so much is because she respects the fact that what she has and what she can do, like any gift, it could be taken away if you take advantage of it.
Yeah, and I've seen that so many times, like with Sylvia Brown and so many other people. They start off really good, and then they start just gouging people when it's not right, you know? Like you said, if you're sending it to charity or wherever else, you know, good on you, but I find that these people eventually end up losing their gifts because they're not using it for good. They're using it for gain.
Yeah.
Right.
Lindie and John, I feel so bad you guys are over there in the corner. What say ye?
No, I had to in charge my phone. He's actually sitting outside smoking, but I had to charge my phone. It's about to die.
Okay, good.
We're here.
I didn't want to leave anybody out.
We're here. We're here.
But it is interesting to see different people and the different paths they take, and I don't know. So as far as the accounts you're getting these days, are they more home cases, like personal cases?
Yeah, we get, we do have a couple of, like locations or like businesses and stuff like that. But the majority of our clients, or the majority of the places that we go to are people, private homes. They're having activity or something's going on. Either come debunk it or come tell me what's here and let's fix it, that type of thing. And I love it. I love helping people. I love that is the main focus of our team, is helping others. It's like historical locations are a dime a dozen, especially when you live in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that there's so much history here that it's almost a given that it doesn't have to be a 150-year-old house to have activity. Because so many tragic things have happened in the state that, it's almost like a given that pretty much anywhere you live, you're going to have some sort of activity going to it or a haunting. We've been to private residences where it turned out that it's really not what they thought it was, and then we've been to residences where it's like, whoa, this is a whole lot worse than we thought we were walking into, but, we deal with it and handle it.
Well, and it's funny because there's so many groups out there that have different intentions. People that watch these shows on TV and look for the thrills and such and actually end up causing more problems than what we're really supposed to be doing. Like, yes, go in, investigate, figure out what's there, what steps you need to take. But the weekend warrior thing, I don't think people even realize. They don't take it seriously and they think it's just fun, and they don't consider the family or whoever else is having to live there.
Oh, yeah. It's we've been to places that are like, oh, yeah, we had somebody else come in and they did this and this and that and quiet down for a little bit, and then it, amped up that much more after, and then, now like, Tag, you're it, you figure it out, and yeah, there are a lot of weekend warriors out there that just go out for the thrill of looking for a ghost, where, there's a lot of us out there that are truly, and we're not the only team that does it, that's out there to truly see if there, what the paranormal activity is, what actually is it? Is it something to be explained due through, physical things in the house, like the electricity or things like that? Or is this really, are these people really having some sort of activity that's paranormal, and how can we help them? I would like to think that there's more of the mindset that we all are, where it's, let's see what's going on and how can we help someone, versus just the weekend warriors that are like, oh yeah, this is cool, let's see what we can, conjure up, no pun intended.
There's so many groups. It's like ego. Okay, let's say ZB. We won't say a name. We'll just say ZB. Okay, ego. Aaron. I love Aaron. And he'll have an experience, and then ZB comes in and is like, oh my God, I'm having this feeling. I'm having this experience. And he totally takes Aaron's experience away from him. And it's like, okay, whatever. You're getting good ratings, and you're still here like 25 seasons later. Keep doing what you're doing, I guess, because people are liking it. But there's some of us that are just like, oh my gosh. And he has changed a lot in the later years, I guess. He doesn't try to antagonize and do other things like that. He tries to have more respect, I guess. But still, if I want to go see a play, I'll go see a play. I don't want to see somebody dramatizing this paranormal stuff. It bugs me.
Right. And not everything that you encounter is a freaking demon. Like, there's people that are assholes in life, and guess what? They're going to be an asshole in death. Not everything is a demon.
And you know, I'll put the flip on that too. I mean, we have have had a couple of private clients that they call you into their home, you go into the home, you're not giving them the answer that they're looking for because they're looking for the bells and the whistles and the thrill show and what they're seeing on TV. So they start paranormal investigator or ghost hunter shopping. You know, and so then they're inviting all of these different energies into their home. And hell, they may not have had anything paranormal to begin with, but at the end of it, they probably have produced something. You know, and then they want to call, you know, people that are real back out there to fix the problem. Not realizing that they created it to begin with.
It's so hard, and it's funny because, like, I'm, number one, willing and able to go out there and help whoever I can, but when it comes to my house, I'm meek. Like, you know, I try to be quiet about it and not talk about it here, and I don't know, the resident ghost, he's cool, John's cool, but the other things that come in and out aren't always so nice. So it's funny how we do different things at other locations than our homes, especially when we have kids or fur babies or whatnot going on. I don't know if you guys do that, but that's how I am. Like, I'm really, you know, warrior over here, but over here I'm going to stay calm and collected and take a different approach.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, not to say that, you know, Blow's house down the street isn't as important to it. I'm on the side. It's just, you know, first and foremost, I'm a mom. I'll always be a mom first. I'll be a mom before I'm a teacher. I'll be a mom before I'm a student. I'm a mom before, you know, I'm a paranormal investigator. So the mama wolf in me is always going to win out. And I'm always going to make sure that, you know, my home and my kids, and even my four-legged kids, you know, and my husband, that they're going to be protected. And we take measures for that. You know, when we go investigate private homes and things like that, you know, we always make sure to, you know, pray before and after, you know, make sure that we command anything that's there, stays there. They don't get to leave there and come home with us. Like, you know, and it happens. It's inevitable. You can take all the precautions in the world and you're going to get a hitchhiker, you know, and you deal with it. But, you know, I take every measure possible to make sure that I come home the same way I left, with nobody following me, you know, because I don't want to, you know, and that's always a concern in the back of my mind, is to make sure that I don't bring something home that I want to share in my house. I mean, I've got spirits here. I clearly don't mind sharing my home with spirits. What I do mind is bringing something nasty in my house that's going to affect, you know, my kids. At the point, like, hey, you crossed the line in the sand, and you and I are going to have a problem.
Yeah, not just your kids, but your pets or other family members. Like, I'm not saying when I go out to another house, I'm fearless and reckless. No, like you said, you take every precaution. You have respect for the homeowner, the home, and whatever is there to a certain extent, and you take those different steps. Like, I think it's because it's home that, you know, it's more personal, and there's other things that can happen to you at that point as opposed to at another site. I don't know if it's just me, but that's how I feel.
No, yeah, it's true. Because at home, you're an animal investigator. At home, you're mom. You're the wife, you know, so you have a different role in your own home that you do in somebody else's home.
And also, like, your home is like your safe haven, you know, like, you try to protect it and everything in it.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of following you here. When we go to a private client's home, yes, we approach things differently than if we go to an event or a open location. You can do a little bit more. You can go in a little bit deeper and not be as concerned about the resident. But when you go in and you work with a private client, absolutely, first and foremost, you know, that is somebody's home. So you take the precaution to treat it the same way you would your own home if you were going in and doing an investigation. That's why, when we have a private client, I tell them we're going to take it in steps. I'm not going to come in here, wide open and jump in and do a full-blown focused investigation. We're going to start with this aspect. We're going to sit you down. We're going to talk to you. We're going to have that initial sit-down investigation where, we'll pull out the voice recorder. We may pull out a camera. And then, we'll go from there as to how much further and how much deeper we need to go. We have a private client now to where, we had to start out with a person in the home. Then we're going to have to move on to the home. Then we're going to have to move on to the land. But it's, you kind of got to baby step it to where it doesn't get out of control.
Yeah.
So, whereas, if I go, the team goes into a location, you can go into a location balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Because it's not a private client. But I'm not going to do that to a private client at all.
No, like anything could happen. So, like, okay, for our group, the way we weeded out the Weekend Warriors, to be a core member, you have to come to monthly classes and educate yourself, because if you go out there and you don't know what you're doing, it's dangerous. And that's how you get rid of the people that just want to be there for the shits and giggles and thrills and frills and all the other fun stuff, which, yeah, as a hobby, going to the cemetery or wherever else you want to go, that's cool. But when it comes to people, you have to consider all these things. And it's funny when I'm talking about this stuff as far as your home, other people's home, I kind of feel like I'm talking in circles and I'm talking against myself. But at the same time that you're cleansing someone's house and doing these different steps, you're also teaching them how to take that power back and do it themselves. We're doing this right now. Make sure you pay attention, because this is how you need to do it, because you're the power in your home or in your world, realm, whatever you want to call it.
Right. And when we have private clients, we don't leave them high and dry. They become part of our paranormal family. If they need us, call us. We check on them, and see how this is going, what's going on. We explain to them, how to use what we use. We talk to them about cleansings. We talk to them about blessings. I'm not a big sage person. I explain to them why I'm not a big sage person. And we just take it a little bit deeper. We talked about that we're a Christian team. We had a private client last year that, there was a binding spell at the location. We had to call in with permission, a Wiccan to send us the things and, tell us how to get rid of it. These are all parts of dealing with, a private client and things on location, be it Native American, be it, something that a witch has placed on the property, something that, devil worshipers came in and dealt with. Yeah, or just the spirit, be it a friendly spirit, be it a malevolent spirit, be it the D word. We've dealt with it, and we do it all with kids' gloves going into a location. But it's like you said, it's as much about educating the homeowners, and also, I am big on taking care of spirit too. To me, they're just as important. A lot of teams don't see it that way, but I'm going to take care of the spirit just as I am, the homeowners. And I've even explained to many homeowners, this was their place before it was your place. And if y'all can live cohesively together, allow
that'd be
it.
best.
If you can't, then well, yes.
Some people are like, I just can't live with this. This is my home. This thing needs to leave right now. It's like, really? Can't you get along?
Right.
Can he stay here a little longer till it is Judgment Day and whatever?
Right.
That's what I love about my group. Like, we're not all the same. Like I said, I've sought out different churches, was baptized LDS and went back and forth to that. We have Wiccans, we have pagans, we have a diverse group, and And it's like you're saying, that's what I love about it, because I don't know shit about fairies and some of these other things. And Jamie can come in and say, oh, I know exactly what we need to do. We need to set out a plate with some toast and honey and milk and plant some flowers, and we can make peace with these guys. And I'm just like, I have no clue what to do. So different people have different knowledge. We can all help each other.
Yeah.
Right. One kind of sold me and John on joining this, or that like, we're humble enough to know, like, especially stepping into the private client that we stepped into, because it was a doozy, and we took it step by step and doing more research and coming back in, and we just kind of realized, like, hey, we're at a standstill. Like, we have to reach out to somebody else in the parent community that can come help, and we did. And then they stepped in and helped us get answers that we couldn't get, and then we all decided, hey, like, this worked out really well, and they're immediately like, you know, y'all are humble enough to, like, reach out, like, and I'm humble enough to know that I still have a lot to learn in this field. And they're willing to teach me and guide me in that direction. And that's one of the big things that actually sold me on, like, yes, like, this is the team for us. You know, like, I don't think I'll ever gain enough knowledge that the more people that I can have leading me and guiding me, like, the better. You know?
I agree. And it's funny, like, the ego people that are like, I know everything. I am the all-knowing. When you need to refer to something, come to me. I'll let you know. There's a lot of things that we'll never know until we are on the other side. But we're learning so much, and it's so good to listen to different perspectives and outlets and stuff. You're always learning. And you know what's true, what's not, and what you can use, what you can't. And I don't know. I just really love it. I enjoy it. It's exciting.
And no two investigations are ever going to be the same. I mean, you learn something with every investigation. It's like, oh, didn't know that. You know, so it's always going back to the books and back to doing, you know, research and, you know, learning. And anybody tells you that they know everything, it's like you said, there's no way.
Red flag.
It's evolving. The paranormal is evolving. So we'll never know everything. It's science. Science is forever changing.
Evolving.
Yes, I prefer evolving to devolving, because that shit's scary. But yeah, we're constantly learning. I don't think we'll know everything, but I'm really blown away at the technology and the different things that are proving it. Like, no matter if you slap somebody upside the face with a ghost or whatever, they're still going to deny it because their belief system. Sometimes people are open and they want to open up and learn and see, and have always wanted to have that experience. I actually had a girl that contacted me. I've never seen a ghost. I really want to. How can I do it? Open your mind, be aware of your surroundings, and know that anything is possible. And I think it was 3 months later, she got back a hold of me, and she's like, oh my God, you won't believe it. I just saw my first entity. It was really cool. But skeptics are healthy too. It's healthy to be skeptical.
Yeah, it's funny. So I was talking yesterday with a friend of mine who, you know, she makes no bones about, you know, stating that she's atheist. And she's like, truthfully, I don't know what, you know, she's like, I don't believe in heaven. I don't believe in hell. She goes, I really have no clue what happens when you die. But she's been having all this activity in her home, and she knows it's a loved one that passed not too long ago. And you know, and I sit there, I'm like, how can you, like, and unless I completely have the definition of an atheist wrong, like, how do you not believe in anything, but in the same sentence tell me that you're experiencing something that does not make any sense whatsoever, that defies logic, it defies science, it defies everything. Like, you've got things going on in your home that have no plausible explanation. How do you still not believe in something?
Yeah, and there's always that doubt there, and it's healthy to doubt things and seek it out and educate yourself. But I mean,
The
after
cool
I had
thing
my
about
kids,
her,
I'm like,
though, is that
I had a friend, Patrick. I'm like, look at my kids. Can you tell me, looking at my kids, God does not exist? There's a God out there.
Right.
yeah, we're laughing, and I'm like, it's kind of cool because I'm like, you'd be the perfect freaking paranormal investigator because, like, she literally tries to debunk the things that have happened in her home. And, and she's like, that's why I figured I'd call you because she goes, I can talk to you about it. You're not going to think I'm freaking crazy. She's like, not looking for an investigation or anything because she knows what it is, but she was like, damn it, man. She goes, I've tried to figure out what could be causing it. And she goes, it always points back to the same thing. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, it is possible. It's okay. It's okay to believe that, yes, things, something does occur after you pass away. And once your physical body's gone, your spirit has the ability to still stay in contact with those that, they love and whatnot. And it's crazy because this person, like the loved one that passed, they've got friends that have experiences as well after this person passed. And a lot of the experiences between these people that don't have anything in common other than this one person that passed are having the same experiences, like the same things happening at their homes. And like one's in Mississippi, one's in New Mexico, one lives in Croatia, so it's like y'all are spanned all over the world and you're having the same experience. Explain that. She's like, I can't. I can't explain it, So, and she's like starting to not, she's still not going to, believe in God or whatever. And that's cool. That's, her choice. But at least I think she's starting to change her mindset from not believing that there's nothing at all to, okay, believing the possibility of something else, which is cool. Because it's an older person. So it's neat to see, someone my age kind of like realizing, well, crap, I don't know everything, and I'm learning something new, and it's kind of different, and it's taken a bit for me to wrap my mind around it, but I'm starting to see different now.
Yeah. And it's funny, somebody mentioned people like a vampire. No, but being able to help people to see the other side. And I got to see my grandpa shortly before he got really sick and died. And I was talking to him about my paranormal group and my radio show, and he asked me certain questions, and I'm like, yeah, Grandpa, I do believe that's true. And for me, it was like seeing a kid's face light up at Christmas or something. Like there's that little spark of hope. And then when I came back to see him, when he wasn't going to pull through before I could even make it, he did pass away. And I stayed in his man cave, and I was looking at all his books, and he's got like a Life magazine with when the whole Pearl Harbor thing happened and everything. And then I see all these different paranormal groups, and I'm like, he actually heard me, like he listened to me and sought it out himself to educate himself to know like what is over there. Because he really didn't have that sort of perspective. And then when I told him, he was like, oh my gosh. And so it just really meant a lot to me that he really took it to heart and he decided to do his own digging. For me, that's like so cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've noticed too, though, like kind of on the flip side of that, like you have people who have like these experiences, and in a way, like it kind of terrifies them to where they kind of shut it off, and they never have those experiences again because they're so scared of it,
Yeah, and as a kid, my number one armor was my sheet and blanket.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing can penetrate that.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, Lindie, because two of my older kids, they were both very open when they were younger. My daughter in college, I have a sister that passed away when she was about 8 months old. She's older than I am, so I never got to meet her. But we all have a picture, like it's the same picture. There's duplicated between the rest of us. And my daughter used to talk, and I'm like, who are you talking to? And she's like, the baby. But as she got older, it kind of freaked her out, and she shut it off. I mean, with, my youngest son, who's an adult now, we'd actually gone to the hospital to visit someone, and apparently we picked up a hitchhiker on, Florida's Turnpike heading home, and he was 5 or 6 at the time, and he just starts like screaming, make him stop. And I'm thinking, his brothers are messing with him. So I'm like telling, his one older brother that was sitting next to him, I'm like, dude, leave him alone. Like, it's late. I'm tired. We're driving home. Like, quit messing with him. And I, look in the rearview mirror, and his eyes are like as big as saucers. And he's like, Mom, I'm not even touching him. And I don't know what the hell is going on. And so I was like, what's up, buddy? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, the old man. And I'm like, what old man? And at the time I drove a Ford Explorer Sport. So he was pointing in the back cargo area. He's like, you don't see him? He's sitting right there. He's creepy. He's in a dark suit.
And he smells funny.
Baby, I don't. Yeah, no. And he's like, it's not funny. Like, there's this old man and he's scaring me, and I tell him to quit looking at me. And I'm like, well, you see him. I don't. So you have power over him. And I literally pulled over on the side of the highway, opened up the back door, like the hatch of the back. And, I was like, tell him that he has got to go, that he cannot come home with us, that he has got to leave, and he is never allowed around us again. And it took him a minute, but he did. And at that point, like, it shut it off. Like, that experience scared him so badly that he just completely closed himself off. And it's funny because when we were looking to move here to Mississippi, both he and my daughter Maddie were like, do not, because they know I love old homes. And they're like, you can't buy a house that's like 100 years old. You have to buy something that was like built, within like the last, 50, 60 years, because we don't want to live in a haunted house. And I'm like, yeah, joke's on you, because the house was built in 91 and it was very much haunted when we moved in.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to be the house. It could be the property.
Absolutely.
Or the person.
Absolutely. I was like, there is too much history in Mississippi that regardless of when the house was built, it's what occurred on the land prior to it, is what matters.
Shannon?
It's that imprint in time.
Was that you trying to say something?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it was Lindie. Kind of what I was getting at, like when people stuff and everything. Like, my daughter was experiencing stuff, and of course she knows what we do. And she had this, because at our old property we had a barn that was very much haunted, and she was like, well, Mom, I'm going to start a YouTube channel with my friends, and we're going to have a kids paranormal team.
That's so awesome.
And awesome.
But scary.
So I was like, let's go. She was like, well, you be the camera person. We're going to go down here. And we'd been down there several times with her friends, doing EVP sessions and such, and getting different evidence of that. But it just so happened one night, she was like, Mom, let's go down there. So me and John go down there with her, and we were doing different things. We had spirit box with us and doing an EVP session, and all of a sudden, like, it was almost like time stood still for a little bit, but when we all came to, we all recollected different conversations being had. Like, I was like, no, we were talking about this. And she was like, no, Mom, we were talking about this. And so I was like, no, this is the conversation we just had. Jeez. And we were all just kind of left, like, dumbfounded. And we had no recollection of how long we had been down there. Anything. And I think at that moment, like, it triggered something in her to where she was just like, okay, this scared the shit out of me. Like, I don't know that I want to do this anymore. And she had been having experiences in her room and such not too, but I think that was like a defining moment for her to where it just really scared her. And
yeah, she's like, this isn't just my imagination. This is real.
Yeah. Since then, she's completely like shut down. And I was actually talking to some friends of hers that go to school with her mom, and she was telling me like that her girls were experiencing stuff and all that, and I was kind of like telling Delaney, I'm like, hey, like, why don't you reach out and talk to them? Like, you're not the only one. Like, you shouldn't shut your gift out. Like, it's a beautiful thing. Like, you have the opportunity to help and do great things in this world with it, But I think that fear is just holding her back at this point in time, you know? And I hate that.
Yeah, and it's funny because we do have different gifts, and with my daughter Nova, she's now 16, but when we were in Arkansas, we went to the Prairie Grove battlefield, and she had seen several different entities, and the last one, before I took her home, I'm like, okay, I'll take you home so you don't have to experience this anymore, but she saw a soldier run by our car, and I was trying, I can't remember the effect or the experiment it is, but you play sounds from the era, so I'm playing Civil War sounds out my window, and all of a sudden this thing kicks up, and he jumps into the tree line, and she is frantic, and she's like, Mom, can we go? I just want to go right now. I just want to go right now. I just want to go home. And we're like thousands of miles from home, but she meant my brother's house, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. And she's like, Mom, I wasn't scared at what I saw. I was scared at what I felt, because she was feeling his fear. He's about to lose his life. He's trying to do everything to not have that happen. And so she's very empathic and gifted in so many ways I don't even know right now. But I don't know. I try to make her not afraid, because fear does keep you down. It keeps you from fulfilling the depths that you could.
Yeah, your destiny.
Yeah, I can attest to that, because I did the same thing. I shut it down for a while, being afraid of it. And, you know, it just kind of, when it came back, it came back. More profound and more powerful than it had ever been. But, I mean, you go through some scary things, and if you don't, I just learned to research, and not shut it off. But we're raising a generation all gifted, I believe. And it takes them recognizing that gift and learning it, and teaching them the ground and teaching them to turn it off and turn it on. And we're raising a powerful group of young people.
Yeah, and back in our day, grandparents, parents, aunts and uncles, whoever, it's not real. It's your imagination. It was a bad dream. Just go back to sleep. And it's just like if you were sexually or physically or whatever assaulted and you tell somebody this and they're like, we don't believe you. For me, it's the same thing. Like, it really tramples you down like that. Like, I know I experienced this and you're saying I didn't. So now you're trying to make me doubt myself. But I always knew and believed. But it does close that window a little bit, or that curtain or whatever. And it's so much harder to get it back than just to claim it and build on it in the first place. So that's why I like this generation, because we're all telling our kids and educating them and letting them know this is real, this is how to protect yourself, and this is what could happen.
Well, we're all a bunch of indigo kids raising star children. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's amazing. Well, on that note, you guys, we do have to go to our second music break. We got Mr. Brick Casey with an old remake. Mr. Telephone Man, this is Mr. Cell Man. Then we got Griff with Let Freedom Ring. This is one of my most favorite, most recent, somewhat patriotic songs. You can really jam out to it. Then we have Prime Example, which Roy Washington is a member of, and he is our musical host that gives us all of our music on the house. So instead of listening to commercials, we can jam out to some tunes. You guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break.
Hello? I'm trying to call my baby, but it's poor reception, cause she ain't picking up. Hello? Hello? Listen, Mr. Operator, I've been up all day and I'm trying to dial my baby's number. See, it only rings straight to the machine. 617. Now I know something must be wrong with this cell phone, cause my baby, no, she wouldn't hang up on me. So tell me what's going on. Now see, most of the time phone only ring twice. How you doing, boo? Cool, how's your date? Nice. Now she ain't picking up, plus a text her. Put it to your plane, she's the one to get next to. It's not just the way, it's all day with affection. I'm hoping this detection is poor reception. Straight to the machine, mean it's like clicking my car, get connected quick. I'm saying, hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. first time I call, I'm like, maybe she working. And the second time I call, I'm like, little bit hurting. But the third time I call, I'm like, going berserk. And now half a day gone, can't get her on the horn. Usually in the morning, maybe it's something wrong. I mean, she wouldn't take this long to call back. See, we tight like that, she's supposed to be mine. So could you please try it one more time? Hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? For some reason, it's like she ain't home. Just wanna get my baby on the phone. Now I know that she's there all alone. So can you please hook up my cellular phone? Hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? Why she ain't picking up, yo?
We been poppin' like
Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip, I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip, I be stacking them chips. Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip, I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip, I be stacking them. I ain't never been afraid of a strange beat. New track from the crates, but the same me. Lights on, bills paid, bring the same heat. Couldn't picture me spending the same unless you bring me. Low key, humble brag, never change me. New money coming in, the bank's changing. The quarters to dollars to checks every hour. That money come in when I sleep or I shower. That's motivation, that dedication. I can see my dreams, I'm already chasing. That bezel clean, watch me embrace it. I'm a single girl, but already taken like a stick-up kid. They already shaking. No Harlem, Brooklyn, being known for break-ins. Bubble on deck, being known for caking. Stacking and saving and move up out the hood money. This that, we been eating good money. This that, really wish you would, homie. This that, see you laughing but broken funny. So get up out the hood, homie. Ain't no rentals over here, dummy. And no, they don't really think that we own it. We been poppin', look on. Love the money, but the money live a long time and on. Yeah, them bills, so got the money with my own ground. That move up out the hood money. This that, we been eating good money. This that, really wish you would, homie. We been poppin' like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip, I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip, I be stacking them chips. Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip, I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can, all the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip, I be stacking them. I ain't never been afraid of investing. I'm talking more than dice games and I'm scratch offs. Lottery jackpots and hundreds of millions. So who you think they making money on the backs of? Ain't no gambling today. Ain't no gambling with my money that I built up. Got my money strong, yeah, my money long, my money zone. Not one business, but no business. Natural growth, I mean no business. New growth like my natural hair. Yeah, I'm 10 toes down in the show business. Like back up off, man. Ain't the move around no business. Bring the track up with the tracks out in the booth. Way steady running your mind, talking this and that. But it's that, move up out the hood money. This that, we been eating good money. This that, really wish you would, homie. This that, see you laughing but broken funny. So get up out the hood, homie. Ain't no rentals over here, dummy. And no, they don't really think that we own it. We been poppin', look on. Love the money, but the money live me dance. Pringles in the whip, I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dance. Big bank, baby, money grip, I be stacking them chips. When I ain't in the booth, yeah, I'm still gon' snap it. Homie, you ain't gotta lie, cause it's the truth we after. And I'm without the beef for the clout. I'm the one you shouldn't believe the rumors about. Spitting and giving you brain tumors and Zuma lessons. Mover and a shaker with the flow. Soon as I pop you toes. If you had any ego or ego, let go. If you had any doubt about me, just know I'm pleasing to the ears and the eyes and the throat. And I ain't giving you no more details till we talk pillow. I ain't nowhere close to my greatness. I don't do all that boasting, just make hits. Yo, I don't do all that posting, naked pics for likes, and I ain't make this up, I can't fake this. Seeing and loving and feeling and breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, barely. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm seeing and loving and feeling and breathing it. Bentley. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm a lover and a fighter and a giver and a pleasure and pain and boss deliver it out. Yet I make this look real easy. Everybody hate Chris, but I'ma win like Breezy. But I started later on the way to the top and can't stop, so don't push not one button on this elevator. They try to push my buttons to start levitating. Rise above it all, I can tell that you fake when you're shaking my hand and the smile on your face shows me even you're greeting and meeting and love is hating. I'm actually amazing, but modestly saying I ain't waiting for cosigns or playlists. Cause I ain't nowhere close to my greatness. I don't do all that boasting, just make hits. Yo, I don't do all that posting, naked pics for likes, and I ain't make this up, I can't fake this. Seeing and loving and feeling and breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, barely. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm seeing and loving and feeling and breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, barely. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm the one you gon' call when you're lonely. I'm the new girl on the block, you gon' show off to your homies. I'm telling you now, we gon' vibe in the booth. How you crave another feature like I'm your sweet tooth. All my people wanna see me shine, but I don't pray for you to fall, cause I don't play with karma. When I slide through, it's gon' be bad timing. Like, watch out, little homie, watch out. I'm
got big houses, nice cars, that's real cute, but that doesn't mean nothing, you ain't free to choose. When I say free to choose, no alarm clock, don't gotta hit the snooze. The world is backwards, I'm so confused. They say freedom of speech, but when you speak your mind, they blow a fuse. Just being honest, common sense and common, it's kind of ironic. My freedom, recently bought it, now I'm a target. If I do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing, come on man, let freedom ring. Yeah. United States become divided states. The world is filled with all kinds of shades, and still resegregate. Parents separate from the children, that's not okay. We should be free to laugh and play. Do it now, before you pass away. Fight for what's right, enough for everybody to get a piece of the pie. Brainwash, social media, full of lies. Go to work, pay bills, then you die. Need a breakaway, guns, get rid of the AKs. Our ancestors paved way since the slave days, but we still hurting. Carry that burden. Stop playing victim. Beat the system. Love is love. It should be shown. Can't grow unless you leave your comfort zone. This I know. I learned all this from the mentorship. Kids don't know what independent is. Take advantage what your parents did. Go against the grid. You have to. Like going to the bathroom. Learn the right songs. Cause of Matthew. Liberty like statute. They call now the present. Cause it's a gift. It should be cherished. Last name fearless. Not Harris. All thanks to my parents' parents. Now, love the last name every time that I hear it. Cause I know what it represents. Climb the fence. So now I got freedom. Such a beautiful thing. Freedom. Such a wonderful thing. Thing. Freedom. Such a beautiful thing. Freedom. Such a wonderful thing. Such a beautiful
By the way, little mama, can we be friends? I can't let this night just end. I really wanna know if I can see you again. Give me your number, we'll get back on the scene. We can hit another club if that's your thing. We'll be partners in crime, you and me, as we ripping up floors like two dancing machines.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we have, I'm going to say John first, because he's been here the least amount of time, and he's been working real hard. And then we got Lindie, Shannon, and Lissette. Not Lissette, but Lissette. You guys, welcome back. And thanks so much for hanging out and talking about the paranormal.
Oh, thank you for having us.
And I was so bummed. I was supposed to have you guys on about a month ago, and you guys had all kinds of one thing after another, and it kind of struck me odd because you guys had just gotten done with a pretty big investigation, didn't you, at that point, when all that shit hit?
We did.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, that was a private client.
That was the
Oh,
private
yeah.
client.
Yeah. That was easy too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a really sad occurrence, and then I think Lissette and Shannon, you guys both got really sick, and it just seems like when it rains, it pours, but I'm so glad we got back on track sooner than later, because I always like hanging out with you guys and hearing what's going on over there.
We always have a great time.
Yeah,
with you.
Go ahead.
We appreciate you having us on here, for sure. But yeah, that private client was a doozy, and it put me in bed for about 5 days.
And Lissette, you had the same sort of experience, or was yours different?
Yeah, it was very similar. I felt like I'd been hit by a Mack truck, and I felt off. And that's the best way I can describe it. I didn't feel like myself. I felt really, really drained, physically, energetically. Like it was just, it was a really, really, it made me think, and I was like, Shannon, what the hell? Like, what is going on? Why am I feeling like this? Like, I don't want to feel like this every time we do something like this. But it was a doozy of a situation. And it did. It really drained us emotionally, energy. I mean, the whole 9 yards. It was like a whole package deal. It was a first for me. Shannon's experienced that before because and she does what she does. But that was like out of all the years that I've been doing paranormal investigating and the different investigations, I've never felt like that before after an investigation where it really made me question, like, okay, did I not prepare myself properly? Did I not protect myself properly? Like, it's just all these crazy things were going through my head. And then I'm like, all right, get out of your freaking head. Get over yourself. You're going to be fine. You help somebody. Call it a day. But yeah, it took me a hot minute to start feeling normal again.
Go ahead, Shannon.
I think that was Lindie.
Oh, Lindie, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I wish I could see your faces.
Oh, I am so glad this is not like a video chat right now, girl. You have no idea.
Yeah, me too. I look like hammered dog shit, but it's okay. I'll survive.
I left that investigation drained and still kind of feeling things that I was feeling there, trying to let that weight get lifted off of me. But I was planning on driving home that night when we left, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to make it home. And then I was like, well, I'll get up early and drive home the next morning. And I literally slept. I don't even know what time I woke up.
It was like early afternoon. I mean, I knew you wanted to go home, and I'm like, you know, usually she's the first one up. And it's the fact that, you know, the next day she was still sleeping, and I'm like, she needs to sleep, and I'm just going to be a mama and let her sleep.
Well, I literally, I don't even know how I kept my eyes open driving home. I came home, piled in John's lap for a minute. I was like, I love you. I'm going to eat this Mexican food. And then I literally crashed and went out. And I still just felt drained for days after. And just like you said, I felt salt. Just salt. I don't know how to explain it any other word than that. It was different, for sure.
Yeah, and you guys seem like it was surprising, but you were aware of it. So instead of, a lot of people won't realize it and they'll feel it and they'll allow it to get them down. Sometimes they won't share with their team member when, in fact, at the same time, they're experiencing the same thing. They just think it's their own thing going on, you know? It really blows my mind how different entities can affect so many people all at once.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
that's one thing about us is we share everything. We kind of overshare. I feel really bad for John sometimes being the only guy on the team. Because some of the conversations that we have or some of the shit that comes out of the three of us girls' mouths, that poor boy, I love him to death. And he's got the patience of a saint to put up with us three together.
That's for sure. But in the end, with that private client, it was very worth it because
the conversations I deal with, or not even, I don't even chime in on them, but the fact that they're burned into my cerebral cortex because I've read them is unreal.
It will haunt your dreams forever. Poor John.
What it's like.
Yeah, sometimes I forget, hey, you need to watch what you're saying. You have a guy on the team now, it's,
it's usually the guys about the girl, right? And you guys are like, hey, maybe we should calm it down. John's over there, and he looks very uncomfortable.
Yeah. He's learned to embrace it, thankfully.
Well, you have
Sorry, John, go ahead.
No, a few weeks ago, there was a couple little events happening back to back, and I wasn't sure which live feed I was supposed to be a part of or into, and I jumped into the wrong one for half a second, and after about a minute, I was like, oh, shit, this is not the one I'm supposed to be inside of. I got to take it in reverse and get the hell out of here. So,
I know exactly what group message you were talking about, and I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
She's like, what the hell just happened?
It's all good.
And then I'm like to my wife, and she's in the live feed, participating or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the living room for a little bit. I'm not... Oh, yeah, it's definitely, it's difficult and an honor at the same time to be the only man in the group, definitely, but there's hurdles. There's definitely hurdles.
John, have you tried to recruit members of the male sex to help you out there?
No, he's not allowed.
What?
I'm kidding.
I don't do too much. A lot of people that I meet and everything like that say that I'm very charismatic and there's a certain vibe I guess I give off. But I'm not a big recruiter. I kind of gravitate towards the people that gravitate towards me, and I don't know. I've always loved all the energy of the women that are in the group, you know, and it was that, and it's obviously my wife. So, I mean, I'm not the recruiting type. I don't try to seek out anything. I guess I just let everything flow naturally and find me organically. So.
He's a glutton for punishment. He loves it.
I think he's getting in touch with that feminine side and being at peace with it. I think you guys are doing a good job. I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, no, like, I told him one day, I was like, you know what, I'm going to make you some sparkly spandex shorts that you have to wear as part of your uniform. And he just rolled with it. He's like, all right, wear it, I'll rock them. And I'm like, oh, my God, you're crazy. We've corrupted him.
Yeah, with a bandana and some 80s hair going on.
Hell yeah.
It's not that y'all corrupt. Like, y'all are always talking about my butt. Like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Like, if you got this short, Daddy's going to wear them. You know?
You're a good sport.
He is. He really is, because he puts up with a lot of crap from us girls.
I got to make my mom happy and everything like that, so.
Aww.
I do
what a good boy.
You know, they take care of me in more ways than I do.
Yeah, and you mentioned your mom, right? Is she still here, or is she on the spiritual side?
Oh, he was referring to me. I'm the mom of the team, because I'm the old hag on the team.
And that's Lissette, right? Not that you're an old hag, but I think I remember somebody referring to you as mom. I'm not saying you're a hag, because you're not. You're a beautiful bitch.
Oh. I'm getting old. Child, and I am definitely Shannon's child.
Yeah, like that's always been a joke with us, is that John is totally my child and Lindie is definitely Shannon's. The blonde moments that come out of those two sometimes, I just look at John and I'm like, why do we put up with this shit?
Just smile and wave.
I love it. Yeah. And poor John, because the three women tell more, that's what she said, jokes than he does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Did I do that earlier? Was that tonight or was that last night? Because they kind of are colliding with the spirit people harassing me at night. And
yeah, no, you did that tonight.
Okay.
You know, but it's like, and it's funny because you have so many people like, oh my God, guys are such pigs and they're so this and they're so that. And I'm like, sister, if you only heard the conversations that I had with my friends, you know, like.
I was raised in the gutter, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate the potty mouth and the dirty sense of humor. To me, it's a sign of intelligence and super superior humor. We don't get pee-pee hurt. We make you pee-pee hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, nope. I don't get offended easily at all. I usually am the one that's offending people for some reason or another.
Mm-hmm. And you don't even mean to, like earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so I heard a joke within the last 3 days, and it says, describe yourself in 3 words. Lazy. Okay, there's 2 more words. Yeah, I'm done. And I said that to Dennis, and he's like, you asshole. And I was like, no, it wasn't about you. You can direct it towards me. It was just a joke I wanted to share. Please don't get hurt. But he's cool. He's still here. He's still hanging tough because he's got that hardcore funny bone going on. But it's important to have humor. So ever in your guys' investigations, do you use humor or you joke and laugh? Because for me, that tends to bring in more positive energy or entities or spirits or whatnot.
I'll speak up on this one. And on the investigations that we've been on as a group together and everything like that, there's been several, that a lot of times when we're doing like a sensory deprivation, like we'll be cracking up at Shannon's responses to some of the spirits that she's speaking to. And it's so hilarious, you know, because she'll straight up put them in check. Like, wait, your turn, you know, hold on. And like, so a lot of times, like and not to say anything about it, but it brings humor to it, even like when we're communicating so greatly that Shannon just like will straight check the spirit, and it kind of gives you a little a little giggle and makes you like lightens up the mood, sort of, to say.
Yeah, it brings light. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh my God, stomach growling. I can't tell you how many times I have to like say into the recorder, that was, Shannon's stomach growling, or that was my stomach growling. Like, our asses stay hungry. I swear, when I investigate, I'm constantly freaking hungry. And I don't know if it's because like my energy's being depleted or what, but a lot of our audio recordings have like, that was a stomach growling, not an actual paranormal growl. Like, that was Shannon's stomach this time, or it was my stomach, or,
that was a parasite or a paranormal worm. Hungry. We'll eat soon.
Yeah.
And absolutely, my mom always brings snacks to me because I'm very passionate about my snacks.
Yeah, your blood sugar gets off, it's all over.
Yeah, I'm all about snack time.
I want to say Shannon, but it could have been Lindie. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep talking.
No, Lindie brought up when the spirit decided to call me a Karen.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, that was
it's a term on the other side. Oh. What did you do?
I laugh about that daily. Yeah, it was like the spirit of a teenage boy that died in a car accident. He kind of went along with the private residence that we were investigating. And she was kind of connected to him on the ride to this house. And I don't know what the hell the conversation was, because Lindie and I weren't part of the conversation that was going on in her head. And she busted out.
I was telling him to.
You there?
Yeah, I was telling him to take a step back. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was asking him to take a step back, and allow us to go in and do what we needed to do, and he basically told me no. But I'll let y'all tell the rest.
Yeah. Not only did he tell her, his response to her was, "Respect the drip, Karen." And Lindie and I died laughing because I'm like, dude,
these nuts
had the freaking spirit tell you. He called you a Karen.
And respect the drip.
Oh, we had to look it up. I had no idea what it meant.
That is insane. That is so today terms. That kid. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind. Like, now, so. Everybody's on so many different spiritual levels, and some people, it takes some time to come through, and some people are just like, bam, I'm right here, Karen. All right. No, you can't come in here. Respect the drip.
Yeah.
Well, he was protecting his quote brother, so he had a job to do.
That's honorable.
He was very clear about letting me do that.
Yeah, and it's funny because when we told the clients what happened, the kid just died laughing. He goes, "Oh, that's totally something he would say."
That is so cool.
I'm like, damn, I've been called a
so
lot
apparently
of things,
I'm the Karen of the group.
All right, Karen.
Yeah,
next, who wants to talk next? John, were you saying something? I'm just kidding. Teenagers, man.
I with a lot of things. Karen, not so much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that moment was hilarious.
It is. That's so super humorous.
It was so funny. That's actually in my notes from that investigation. Like, legit.
Dennis is in the chat room. He's like, "That's it. Respect the drip, Karen."
That's pretty much what I was told.
It's just amazing, like, how many levels, how many different centuries, they're all in it together. Like the night I was telling you about on Halloween, there was a Civil War troop. There's a couple guys carrying flags. There's some guys doing the belly crawl. I saw a Native American girl, a little white hillbilly boy. Oh my gosh, my mind was blown. I saw 2 twin babies. I call him the tall man. He was very yucky, and I allowed the kids to get out of the room, and he got very pissed off at that. And so the 3 days leading up to me going home, he was trying to really antagonize me and scare me. And I'm like, dude, you don't scare me. You have no power over me. And that's when his face went from the hallway about 20 feet away right into my face and then back. And I was like, okay, that was pretty trippy, but no, you're a baby killer. You don't scare me. Go back to your room. I'm done with you. But he hung around after I left. So I kind of felt bad for my sister, but the babies were able to be freed. I think he had power over them somehow.
Yeah.
They were so freaking cute, dude. If I could pick them up, I would have. But yeah, that, like, my whole life, I've had so many different experiences. And that night, the amount of spirits I saw in one night was more than I'd ever seen in my whole life. And like I said, mind blown. Check please. I need to go back home. And it has just continued. Yeah. It's been insane and very awakening. Like, we have been woke to a certain extent, but I feel like we're waking up even more. And for me, it's kind of scary because I never imagined myself in this place. But here we are. So we got to put the ego aside, which I've never had one of those. But work together. We could get so much further if we work together instead of having egos and I'm better than your team and my team's better than yours. We can get so much further if we work together.
You have to stay humble.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're blessed. I mean, we're lucky because we have several teams that we work really close with that, you know, we can call up at any given moment, you know, and get their help and their assistance. And, you know, even if we needed them to come and assist with, you know, a client and be there, you know, they'll do that. But it's like you said, it's putting yourself in check and putting ego aside and being able to be humbled enough and recognize that, you know, we can't do this alone.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying, Lissette?
No, I was agreeing on the whole ego thing that, you know, fortunately for as many people out there that have this huge inflated ego, we've been very blessed to meet just as many that don't have that inflated ego, that are willing to step up and help and, you know, do what they have to do. And it's awesome. It brings that whole para-unity term to a whole level.
Yeah, and a lot of people call bullshit on it. I'm like, bullshit on your bullshit. This is real.
Yeah.
Like, ego is weak, fragile, frail. It will break. We're not gonna.
I don't think we ever would have been able to give in, like, our client answers if it wouldn't have been for us being like, hey, like, we're in over our heads. Like, we need to reach out and get somebody else in here that knows a little bit more than we do to get our clients. It's like, I think we'd still be stuck. And probably at this point in time, like, with what was going on in that house, like, I think they would have been having way more issues than what they were when we were there last. Like, if it wouldn't have been for us being like, hey, Shannon, what's up? Like, we need y'all to come in and give us y'all's take on this, you know? Like, things could have gotten way worse for that client if they wouldn't have been like, hey, like, we need some help, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And it's true, like, a lot of people don't care. They're like, no, I'm not going to ask for help. I'm not going to ask for directions. Just do it. John knows.
Well, I think you've got people and teams out there that think they're going to get into this field and either A, get famous, or B, get rich. And guess what? You're not going to become either.
No.
So that's not what this field's about. So if you're in it for that reason, you're in it for the wrong reason.
Yep.
And it was so rewarding for us because that was John and ours, like, that was our first private client ever. And, like, when we got to the point to where we could give them answers and, like, help them, it was so rewarding and, like, just it was awesome. Like, it was an awesome feeling being like, okay, like, I got to help these people, and I got to help human and spirit all in one, you know, and not just one spirit, multiple spirits. Like, it was just a very rewarding feeling.
Yeah, there's no amount of money or physical possessions or anything in the world that's going to make you feel better than helping that person or that spirit. It's amazing how, oh, man, I can't even describe it. It's awesome.
Right. It is. I mean, you know, to have clients sit there and tell you, you know, they slept the first night through after you left their house for the first time in like 6 years, or, you know, that they've been able to go a week and not be afraid to be in their own home. There's nothing better than that. You know, and honestly, I think at the end of the day, I think we feel more rewarded and better than even the clients do, because, you know, we feel like we accomplished something for them.
To serve your fellow man is key. Love each other as you love yourself. And that can be good and bad because we're really hard on ourselves, but you know what they're saying. Helping each other, that is the key. We got to help each other, and that's the, yeah, makes you feel the best.
Like, I love the historical locations that we go to and are able to investigate there for history and whatnot. But our private clients, they're just so personal, and the relationships that we build with them, like, they're lifelong relationships, you know, and it's an amazing experience all around, you know, and the friendships and the families that you build behind going and doing these private clients, like, it's just amazing.
Yeah, family, parafamily, like, once you guys have gone through that experience, it's bonding, and you guys are going to be there for each other forever, whether it's Christmas cards or saying hello occasionally or whatnot. Yeah, it's the best. That is so cool. You guys rock.
Thank you. So do you. You do too.
Thanks. Well, I just feel really bad because since COVID, and I was going to ask you guys this, have you guys had issues? Have you had to change parameters? Like, in order for us to come in, you guys have to leave, or we'll have a interview outside about 6 feet apart. How do you guys go around it and still continue to help people out?
Well,
Karen?
We kind of shut down last year. We kind of really didn't do a whole lot of private client last year. You know, it got a whole lot of, well, let me backtrack. I am immunocompromised, so I have to be really, really careful about where I go and what I do anyway. So last year, the ones that reached out to us, it kind of got to where it was a whole lot of putting them off and putting them off and putting them off, to the point that, you know, honestly, we did lose a couple of private clients, and I feel really bad about that. But at the same time, I don't feel like any of the cases were necessarily earth-shattering. Had they have been, we would have made exceptions, because if it's got kids involved, I'm going to be there. Now, we had a few private clients at the end of last year that, you know, basically we kind of walked in with masks on and, you know, kind of worked it that way. Just, you know, very cautious, very careful. We haven't ever made anybody leave the residence. We've never had the circumstance where we've had to. We've always, most places that we've had were spacious enough to where we could spread out enough, you know, and work with the private clients. Our last private client was very much hands-on, and it had to be for what it was, literally.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it was just, we just made the decision that we're going to go in there, you know, and help and do what we needed to do. And we just did it, you know, very cautiously. I took a COVID test right before we went, just to kind of be cautious and make sure that, you know, everybody was okay and everything was okay with the situation. Y'all want to follow up to that?
because Shannon is immunocompromised, like safety is always my priority, especially with her. And I probably drive her crazy with it because I tend to be a little overprotective, but I don't want her, she gets sick enough as it is. I don't need her catching something that could quite literally kill her. And so I always try to be super cautious about that. And, when we are investigating, or when I'm interviewing a private client, I'll ask those questions like, have you been sick in the last 2 weeks? Have you been around anybody that's been exposed or tested positive? Like, have you traveled out of the country? Like, kind of run it like a business. Some businesses, you have to answer these questions before you're allowed to go in. And, I do the same thing. I need to protect my teammates, not just from spirit, but from the real horrors of life.
Oh, so you want to hear about a private client we had to turn down?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I do.
So we had a client contact us, about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And it's odd because normally, I go in blind, even with private clients. But Lissette was running late, so she sent me the address, and she's like, hey, look this address up. So once I get there, we can hurry up and go to this private client's house, because we were hitting it on a Friday night because we had our other client Saturday. So we were going to go in and do the initial sit down with this guy and his wife. So I go to Google the address. I put it in Google Maps, but it had an A to it, so I knew that it was either going to be an apartment or a duplex. And if it's an apartment or duplex, we normally ask to get permission from the homeowner or complex owner, before we go in and do any investigations, because we don't want to get sued. So anyways, I go in and Google the address, and it comes up flagged as this guy is a pedophile.
Oh my gosh.
He's a registered sex offender.
Yes, he was a registered sex offender. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, if he just, if he was 17 years old and, was a 16-year-old girlfriend, whatever, okay, we can deal with that. No, this guy was wanted in 4 states.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And, this isn't something we've ever really dealt with before. We've never gone in and, dug. But, from that point forward, I'm like, we're going to have to start really kind of vetting these people a little bit more. But, he had the nerve to, literally, how many messages, Lissette? It got to the point to where it was harassment.
Jeez.
Yeah, and the thing is, when I interview a private client, I ask them very in-depth, invasive questions.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like it.
Ask you, is there, a history of any drug abuse? Is there a history of mental illness? Because a lot of times these outside factors will factor into what's going on in the house.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you need to tell me that I have not asked? And I popped that question quite a few times. And at no point over the numerous conversations that I had with this guy did he have the decency to say, hey, by the way, I'm a registered sex offender. And so when Shannon finds out and I message him and I'm like, yeah, dude, so no, you're not going to have 2 women come to your house because we just found out that you're a registered sex offender. Why didn't you tell us?
You nasty?
And he starts going off on me and just being nasty and whatnot. I'm like, look, you need to understand, being paranormal investigators, it's what we do, but it's not our way of making a living. We both have jobs that pay the bills to support our children and keep a roof over our head. I'm a teacher. She works for the state of Mississippi. Her husband's a game warden. There's just certain people that, based on our jobs, we're not supposed to have contact with. His response to me, I shit you not, was, I don't give a fuck about you or your family, I need help.
Well, go to a
you may not give
freaking program or facility
Yeah.
or something. Leave us alone.
And
Jeez,
I'm
oh,
like,
Pete.
well, you may not give a fuck about me or my family, but I do, and good luck trying to find help, because aren't many people that are going to put themselves out there to come to your home, especially when you're not honest about it. And he just kept on and on and on. And finally,
like, if he volunteered that information, it would have been a little bit different. But the fact that he tried to hide it.
Well, yeah, because
That's
had
a
he
whole-
volunteered the information, I would have been like, hey, look, due to my day job that pays my bills, I can't come to your house. However,
Conflict
I have
of
enough
interest.
friends in the paranormal field that I can find a team to help you. But if
Yeah,
you're going
referral.
to freaking lie to me, I'm not going out of my way to help your ass. And so he just kept going on and on and on and on. And I'm like, look, you need to stop. I said, because the truth of the matter is, if you don't stop, your ass is lucky that the states that have active warrants for you aren't willing to extradite, because I know where you fucking live.
Mm-hmm.
It
It's so
stopped. He
scary
just stopped.
because
At that point, he was like, and I don't like being nasty with people, but I'm not going to be a doormat for anybody either.
or allow him to get in somewhere where he can victimize more people.
Yeah, absolutely not.
You know, I mean, we could have walked into this place, and there's nothing to say that, you know, his intentions for Lissette and I, knowing that it was two females coming, I mean, we may never have walked out of there. So,
That's scary.
And John's here like, gotta be glad I wasn't there.
Yeah, I was going to say, John, did you beat his ass?
Yeah, he's over here like, well, they were going just to do like an initial
Preliminary?
Yeah. But he's like, yeah, I'd be glad I wasn't there.
Some people's kids. We've had people that have mental issues. We referred them like, you've never dealt with this issue. You need to get help because it is affecting your life and it's showing itself physically, attacking your husband, so on and so forth. And then they call back a year or so later. Oh, now we got hundreds of spirits here and it's gotten really bad. Did you do what we asked you to do in the first place? No. And then we had a guy in Aztec, went down, gave him cards, interviewed him, everything. Same thing you guys kind of went through. He was a pedophile. We found that out about a week later. Luckily, he wasn't in the fold too long, but after that, we started doing background checks. Yeah, I know you seem really cool, but I need a background check because it's not just me, it's our clients and it's other people that I'm responsible for. So, yeah, bring back that little sheet and then we'll talk.
At that point, like, it's not only our team, but we all have families to go home to. We all have kids. We all have, you know, like, it's not just a matter of, like, our team. It's our life, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, and your clients, like with this guy wanting to join the team, I'm going to do a whole different thing down here in Aztec and Farmington, New Mexico. While you're doing your thing up there, yeah, I'm sure that would be quite nice for you, but we're going to have to pass. That was so scary, and it's a learning process. You think you have it down, and then there's something that always comes through that teaches you something a little different. So it's about adapting, overcoming, and persevering, for sure. So we're in our last 5 minutes and 35 seconds. What have we not covered that you guys would like to talk about?
Damn, I can't think of anything. We've talked about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We have talked about that. Well, everybody needs to stay tuned in because the stuff that we're doing with Twisted Paranormal right now is all going to be coming out really soon. And it's going to be some pretty exciting stuff and events and documentaries. And Dean, the founder, has actually started Revenant TV, which is going to be a station that is going to be nothing but paranormal. So that's pretty exciting. And if people haven't watched our documentaries yet under Death Stalkers Paranormal, we've got some pretty two really good documentaries out there on Six Shooter Studios. So y'all go hunt those down and watch them. I'm very proud of them because they're very raw.
I like the raw because you get to see the real stuff and it's not cut and edited to make you feel better. This is the real.
Yeah, these are very real. They left it very real, and I'm very proud of, what Clark and Amy came out with and was capable of doing and leaving it raw.
Anyone else?
Make sure y'all go like Roots and Wings Paranormal so y'all can keep track of the upcoming classes and different events that we have going on.
And what area do you guys cover?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, well, because we all live in different parts of Mississippi. And so I love traveling. I like helping people, and I'm willing, we're willing to go wherever somebody needs help. So there's really nowhere that we wouldn't go. We've been all over Mississippi. We've done investigations in other states, like we did the Monroe House in Indiana. We've done places in Tennessee. We did a private client in Tennessee. So there's really no, within a reasonable, driving distance, if you need our help, we're there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got a person in Texas right now that we're working on studying some investigations with. We've got another team in Louisiana that's reached out that's wanting us to work with them. So there's no place off limits. I think I can speak for all of us. If we had somebody contact us from Georgia, we would try to, make arrangements to go there and help. It's just who we are and how we're built.
Yeah, I might have somebody for you guys down near Savannah. I've tried to refer different teams over there, and nobody's ever showed up. So I don't know. I'll talk to my brother again and see if he still needs help or if everything's kind of calmed down, which is kind of like a roller coaster sometimes. It'll get really heavy and then nothing happens. And then it gets really heavy again. Kind of like an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
But Shannon, Lissette, Lindie, John, am I forgetting somebody? I think I got everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. It's been awesome. I always enjoy your guys' company and your energy. Like Dennis was saying, good energy all around. Good feels.
Thank you so much. We love being on your show.
I love having you guys. We got to do it again.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, nighty night, love and light, you guys. Hopefully, hang on there, and we'll talk shortly after I close down the show, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of an after party going on. But I also want to thank all of our friends out there on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Periscope, iHeartRadio, and wherever else beyond the Omniverse you're listening tonight. I had an awesome time. I really love doing this. I think I am addicted to this stuff. Next weekend, we got the Paranormal Forum on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we got Mr. Can Dewey, Bill Hauser, with his Ghost Box Live. You guys, don't forget, we're all in this together. Together, we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. Like I said, if you'd like to join us on the Skype after party, make sure you look me up at tessa.n.thomas30@gmail.com, or just give us a little jingle jangle at 970-335-9596. Until next time, nighty night, love and light. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care of my yous. Take it easy. And let's help each other out.